everybody. Welcome to another exciting edition of 200-400 heads up action between two players that aren't huge fans of each other. My name is Mike Brady. I'm the VP of Upswing Poker. I'm here with ACR-sponsored tournament pro, streamer, and YouTuber, Jeff Boski. Say what's up, Jeff.
What's up, Mike?
Wow, I am really happy to see that Doug got my text message that he should flip tables because I know switch seats, so he's on the same side. Looks like he got it. We're currently just waiting for Daniel to show up. He's not here yet. Looks like that might be him.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there he is. All right, let's get this show on, everyone.
Doug did choose the wrong seat, but at least they're both the same wrong seat. And we are off.
Starting off with his normal 2.25x open that he's been going with. Daniel defends, and we get the Jack 10-7 rainbow. Jeff, you were one of the first people that that wanted to commentate on this match. Can you tell me a little bit about why you were so interested to commentate? I know you're normally a tournament player, not really a heads up guy. Like, what made you want to sweat this match on the stream?
Ever since the day it was announced, I was all in on Doug Polk, and when it came out at 3-1, I just booked as much action as I could at 3-1, and I even got 3-1 action right before it started from Ryan DePaulo, who doesn't know anything about math apparently. And yeah, I'm all in on Doug Polk, Team Polk.
Very nice. Makes sense. Definitely makes sense.
Especially if you bet on something, you want to root for your team, because you like them and you want to, benefit financially from them. So it just seemed like a win-win for me.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. I also have some financial interests in Doug, but not going to affect my commentary too much today.
I'm not biased.
We have a ace high value bet on the double paired board, and Daniel looks him up also with ace high.
Nice.
Streamrunner, we can't quite see on the left table. It's a little too high. Can you move it down a little bit? We can't see Doug's cards at Showdown. C-bet from Daniel on ace 10-3. Also, Boski, on the screen we're watching, would you mind swapping the tables so they're the same, oriented the same as the stream? So it's like left-right.
Oh, switch them?
Yeah, exactly, because the viewers are seeing that the ace 10-3 queen board, they're seeing that on the left, so we want to make sure we see the same thing.
Oh, okay. Is that better?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, we got the 3-bet pot on the right. Doug fires a c-bet on ace a7, gets it through. Where'd you get that 3-1 action on Doug? That's some hot, spicy action.
Yeah, I'm not much of a bettor myself. I don't bet sports or anything like that. But and I hated the idea of having to lay, 3 times as much money as I need to win. But my one buddy always bets on Mayweather, and he always lays like 8-1 and shit, and he never loses. So I figured just like betting on Mayweather.
But yeah, for Doug's sake, let's hope it's a lot like betting on Mayweather.
Yeah, Mayweather versus McGregor. One is foreign to this environment.
Indeed. 3-bet gets through for Daniel on the left, and then we have a 3-bet pot on the right. Fairly dynamic board on queen 6-5 2 spades. Let's see what Doug decides to do.
Do you know if Doug
on the turn? What was that? Sorry.
Do you know if Doug uses a randomizer?
I'm almost certain he will use a randomizer in at least some spots, particularly pre-flop. I think he's probably going to use it quite a bit.
Oh, okay. I was wondering about those pre-flop charts, like how perfect they're both playing pre-flop, and then if it's the same thing pretty much, all the skill will be post-flop then. Yeah,
I would imagine they don't have the exact same charts, but if I know Doug has solved pre-flop ranges that he studied a lot throughout the match, and he has them on the side to reference if he wants to during the match. D-Negs did agree to that after because D-Negs eventually realized that he wanted to have his own notes of some kind. So that's what kind of led D-Negs to kind of heel turn a little bit on the pre-flop charts. And DNegs has his own notes of some kind, I think involving preflop, but I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on with DNegs. Ooh, quick bet and a call on the river on the ace river, and Daniel gets the 2-pair value bet through. Interesting check back on the turn from Daniel. It looks like it worked out because Doug likely had an ace there.
Yeah, snap call on the river.
Yeah,
wow.
do not see that happening without an ace.
Yeah, cooler. It's gonna happen. Yeah, I wonder. Has it been revealed who DNeg's team that he's studying with is?
I don't know if it's been publicly revealed. Some suspicion. I heard of Sean Deeb and Fee. They were commentating last Wednesday, and they were saying a name MJ, which is a pretty vague name, just 2 letters. But some people in the chat might know who MJ is. That apparently is one of Daniel's coaches, if he has more than one.
Oh yeah, I know who that is. I think Gonzalez. I think Gonzalez is his last name.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just a shame we don't have the DNegs cam just to see him get tilted. I mean, that would just be priceless.
Everyone wants that. Everyone's been commenting, we wish we had cams on the players, and I think the main motivation is seeing a little bit of DNegs raging.
Yeah, that rage. That rage was something else. People thought it was scripted, but I think that's just genuine rage built up.
I mean, that's something I always think about those guys like Daniel, or like the kind of the old school guys like Phil Hellmuth. It's pretty remarkable, like how much they care about poker, how much they care about like their single games and stuff like that, considering the fact that they've been playing for just like so long. It's actually, I mean, in a way, it's pretty admirable. Bet on the left from Daniel gets through.
Yeah, big overbet. DNegs bringing in the 1.5 pot river bets now. He's adding that trick to his game. Yeah, the emotions in poker are very understated. I mean, people really contain their emotions well, especially like live tournament bust outs, or you're playing a cash game and you got to reload. Some guy you just don't like just busted you and he's scooping up all your chips, and you have to like maintain your composure and not just let him have it verbally or physically.
Physically.
Yeah, I'm surprised that doesn't happen more with so much money on the line relative to the stakes in many situations.
Yeah, well, casino security departments have a little something to say about that. Maybe have something to do with it.
Yeah. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. Physically assaulting your opponents in a casino.
Indeed. Would you mind making the tables just a bit bigger too, Jeff? I can't quite make out the bet sizes on some of these hands.
I can go full screen.
Thank you.
You can see all this.
For those confused, I'm watching the tables on Jeff's screen because he's in Nevada, I'm in California. I can't even open these tables on WSOP.com, so I have to have him screen share so I can actually see what's going on. Daniel with the first check raise of the match on 9-5-3. He does get called by Doug. We get the 4 of hearts on the turn, bringing in a few of the straight draws, 6-7 in particular. Ace-2 also possibly in Doug's range. Someone in chat, who was it? Let's see. Someone said his coaches, MJ and 9-5, something like that. Where's 2 coaches? I missed the guy who said it, but sorry about that. Meant to give you credit.
Yeah, not familiar with 9-5.
Yeah, nor am I. Pair of 2s wins it for Negreanu on the left there.
How long have you been working on with Upswing, Mike?
I joined them pre-product in like late 2015, like right before they launched the lab. We launched the lab, I should say.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in the mix. I was just running the social media pages, and then just continued to get more and more responsibilities as I was kind of waning off of playing poker full time. So kind of worked out perfectly for me.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great company to be involved with.
Overbet on the turn here from Daniel, delay C betting. He checked back the flop after opening pre. Doug does call. Doug's going to check his entire range, more than likely, on that ace turn, because a lot of Daniel's check back range on the flop contains an ace. Generally speaking, heads up, he's going to do that. Doug does have a 7, and he's going to win it with that.
Keeps him honest and takes it down. Let's go, Doug. Let's catch this old man speeding.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see what Daniel had there. Maybe a hand like King 10 that decided to go for a turnover bet and gave up. Could see something like that. Maybe a pure airball. Tough to say.
Just repping that ace. Got to rep it.
He should be betting that card quite a bit, considering how many aces he has. So I think you're right.
Yeah, I think people underestimate the amount of courage that high stakes players have, not only to handle the huge swings, actually do play in the moment. It's tough to pull the trigger for a lot of people.
No doubt, especially when you're playing 200, 400.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy when it's like, oh, I lost 120K today, but it's okay. It's just 3 buy-ins.
Indeed, pretty crazy.
It's like, oh, yeah, good. Since you put it that way.
We have a turn bet versus Daniel's check back on the flop on Jack 5, 7, 8. And then Doug bets the turn, Daniel raises. So Daniel's checking back the flop here and then raising the turn. Could have a hand like 2 pair, could have a hand like pocket 8s that didn't see bet the flop. Diamond on the river is probably a little bit better for Doug, considering the turn, the flop and turn action. But both players can definitely have some flushes here. 9K in the pot. We have a river bet from Daniel on the right as well. That gets through. Daniel goes for about, what is that? Is that 66% or 75%-ish?
Yep.
Pot on the left table.
Feels like Doug's going to check with the A6, ace of diamonds. Okay, never mind.
He does fold.
That would have been a good bluff. A6 with ace of diamonds. But
I'm sure he would have pulled the trigger.
He loves pulling the trigger. That's what makes it so exciting.
Indeed. It's
limit.
Indeed. It's really nice commentating these, just because like every pot is so huge. It's like very easy to always have something to talk about. This is only my 3rd time commentating now, and this is it feels like easy mode commentating. I can't imagine those guys who like commentate live events, but I don't envy them. Pink Panther in Twitch chat asks, is there any Black Friday campaign coming up by Upswing Poker? I'm so glad you asked. Yes, we do have a Black Friday sale this year, 25% off. It's going to start, I believe, on Thanksgiving, so keep an eye out for that. Everything will be 25% off.
Yeah, never pay retail, people. It doesn't matter what it is. There's always a way to get a discount. Always. All aspects of life. Retail is for suckers.
Turn delayed c-bet on the left from Daniel. Ace King 4-2. Again, that's a spot where Doug's going to be checking likely his entire range, if not nearly all of it, on the turn. Daniel goes now for a second bet after the flush completes and the 4 straight comes in. Doug wins a small showdown on the right. 1 bet went in, and he rivered the 9 to win.
75% river bet. And takes it down.
That gets through. Mm-hmm. Doug 3-betting on the right now.
I was reading the 2+2 thread about this challenge, and I think a few people said that you're their favorite commentator, Mike. So there you go.
I did see one of those comments. It's very nice of whoever said that. Thank you to that person. That 1 to 2 persons.
1 or 1.5 people think you're the best.
So going into this match, Doug is down about 26K, and right now in this match, he's down approximately 20K. So I want to know what chat thinks. Do you guys think? So Doug is, just to recap, Doug is down overall in the challenge about 46K right now. Let's get a 1 in the chat if you think this session will end with Doug above profit, so he's above $1 in profit, or press type 2 in the chat if you think Daniel will maintain the lead after this challenge. After this session, I should say. See a lot of 1s, a lot of 2s, pretty mixed. Last time we did this, Doug had the big lead, got a 3, classic, good one, single-digit gambler. We have a good question here from Kakazi2. Looks like about even, by the way, on the ones and twos. I've seen Doug open 950, 930, and 910. How much do opening ranges changed based on such small open raising differences? He's likely not changing his range much, if at all, when he's changing his size on those amounts. The reason he's doing that, you'll notice it's because he's deeper. So when Doug's at 100 blinds deep, he's opening to 910, about 2.25, a little bit higher than 2.25x. When he gets deeper, he's opening slightly larger because when you're in position and you're deeper, the value of position goes up as you get deeper. So by opening larger, he's playing for a larger pot post-flop, and thus his in-position advantage is winning him even more money. So that's why he's opening larger at the when he gets a little deeper. If that comes with a range adjustment, I'm not positive, but it's like if range adjustment at all, it's likely very minimal.
Yeah, same thing goes for tournaments. If you're 100 blinds deep, don't be min raising, or do it. I don't care. Just.
Well, yeah, you're probably okay with them min raising.
Stack depth does matter. Adjust your sizings.
What size do you use early on in tournaments when you're like 100 blinds deep?
I like to go 3x, 100 blinds, 50 to 100, 2.5, under 50, like 50 to 20, 2.2, 20 and under, min raise.
Makes sense. Sounds pretty standard.
Yeah. It's the little things that add up.
Kaboom Poker asked, why is IP advantage bigger when deeper? So it's sort of a complex thing, but to try to explain it in like a succinct way, the game tree is larger when you're deeper, so therefore there's more like sort of there's more avenues to go. Like there's a lot of different possible things that'll happen, and being in position, that's advantageous when you're in position, when there's like more options. Like to think of an extreme example, imagine that we're 2 big blinds deep and I'm on the button and you're in the big blind. My in position advantage is very, very small because we're 1 blind deep, or say we're 10 blinds deep. If you flop a pair, you're going to get it in. So like my in position advantage doesn't really mean much. It's basically just whoever flops a pair. But when you go to like playing 200 blinds deep, all of a sudden in position really, really matters, and that in position player is going to be able to put the out of position player in a lot of really sticky spots. And speaking of a sticky spot, we got Daniel check raising on this turn, Jack 3-2 Jack, versus Doug's delay c-bet. Doug went a little bit big there, up 2/3, and he does call the check raise. Backdoor flush completes on the river.
Who has range advantage here?
It's a good question. I would say I'm not sure who has the range advantage, but I do think Doug has the advantage in flushes here, because I think he's going to have a spade hand that bets the turn and then now calls the turn raise a little bit more often than Daniel will. That's a small bet from Doug, right? 3K into 9K. Interesting.
30%.
Wow, interesting. D-Negs with the 7-high flush.
What? You can never be too careful. Just check call.
Indeed. That is yeah, I mean, it's definitely a dicey hand to check raise with only a 7-high flush, but it is probably a hand that he should just be betting. He kind of that is an unfortunate run out for it. Well, in a way it was fortunate, but also unfortunate for Daniel the way he played it, because he did not win the max there. He definitely, considering Doug had trips, he won quite a small amount, only a 3rd pot river bet. That does put Daniel's lead at about 40,000 for today, though. So whoever put those 2s in the chat, you're looking good so far.
Yeah, I think in general, when you're trying to figure out if you should just call, if your options are call or raise facing a river bet, I like to make it simple and just say, like, if it's half pot or less, check raise. If it's more than half pot, just call. I mean, there's variations of that, but just as a general principle, like they're doing their like weak ass blocker bet, so you got to punish them. You got to flush. Sure, that's a paired board, but you got to get that value. But if he was to pot it, then it's reasonable to just flat call.
Definitely. Versus a pot size bet, I don't think the chat would be crucifying Daniel at all for just calling like they are right now.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't even see the chat. Probably for the best, but
yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. Don't worry about it.
I'm sure you're on it. We got a 3-bet from D-Negs on the right, and warm 4-ball. Oh shit! Doug Polk is playing for stacks. Maybe.
We have seen Doug 4-bet ace-5 off. He definitely has some light hands in his 4-bet range. It'll be interesting to see what happens here.
Yeah, I wonder what his 4-bet fold percentage is.
Oh, I got
Whoa. It's not me. And we got a 10-10 deuce flop, huge range advantage for Micro Stake. I expect a 5K bet with all of his, he's going to be repping a lot of big pairs. 4K, close.
Good read there.
Very dry, no flush draw. And I expect a continue. Probably around 8,000 from Mr. Polk, setting up that easy river jam. Could just jam here, but you don't have too much to protect against. You just want to get those streets.
I think this is a spot Doug doesn't really want to jam because Daniel does have a lot of like suited 10x in his 4-bet calling range. So like jamming kind of puts Daniel in an easy spot. He has a hand 6, easy fold. If he has a hand like Jack 10, snap call. So you never really want to make your opponent's life very easy in poker. So makes sense that he wouldn't go for the jam on the turn.
Wow. Quads. Doug does not fall for it. Just quads.
Daniel, another very strong hand today. Puts him
Wow.
up about 60 on the session.
Feels good to run good. Good shutdown by Mr. Polk there. Wonder if he had aces. Probably
I'm gonna guess ace king if I had to guess.
Yeah. Ace king, ace queen makes sense.
Ibone, gotta show the dog now. It's the rules of Twitch. We'll make it happen later in the stream. We're only 22 minutes in. The dog will bark again. It's a dachshund. She loves to bark. If anyone is familiar with dachshunds, you know that that's a fact. They love barking. So when that happens again, we'll get her in here.
Yep. Adopt, don't shop. Help control the pet population.
Good stuff. That was like a Bob Barker type sign off at the end there.
Have your pet spayed or neutered. Thank you.
How epic to just commit to that message for like 30 or 40 years or whatever he was saying it.
It's a great message. He's a legend.
He really is.
I heard he was a legend with the ladies too. That's a lot of years. All the beauties. All right, we got a big pot brewing on the right. King, queen, 5, 2 spades. Large bet from Mr. Polk after the 3-bet. Gets shoved on.
Wow.
Queen 5 again? Oh, counterfeit.
You know, someone on Twitter did a analysis of how they're running in the all-ins, and I think I don't think many people who have watched a lot of the hands would argue that Daniel has ran at least a little bit, if not quite a bit better than Doug in just general card distribution. But when it comes to the all-in EV, Doug is running very hot. I think his all-in EV is approximately 160K or something like that, above expectation going into this session, probably higher now.
I saw that 180K. Someone did a lot of work for that Bill Perkins tweet. Hopefully Bill shot him some money for all that. I saw that spreadsheet. That's crazy. Yeah,
that was some good work. I feel like that was Moonlighter. He does some highlights here on YouTube, and I think he's going to be doing some highlights for this challenge on his channel. So if you guys want to check him out, Moonlighter or something like that, search him on Twitter, you'll find him.
Nice. Yeah, I saw another Twitch streamer put out some good highlights with some simple pre-flop breakdowns. Kakati, you know what that is?
I've heard the name a couple times, but yeah, cool. Oh, we got the dog here. We'll just show you guys real quick. Get it over with. This is the dog, everyone. Her name is Emmy.
Aww.
And she says sorry for barking next time she barks.
Shot collar time. It's humane. Oh,
and there she goes.
All right. So nice counterfeit by Doug. Aces are good versus queen 5. Wow.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. So we got that to recap the board for everyone. It was Doug 3-bets. Daniel called. It came king, queen 5 with 2 spades. Doug opted for the larger bet on that board. That's a board that's really, really good for his 3-betting range. So instead of using the like 25% type bet you would often see in 3-bet pots out of position, he decided to go for the larger bet just because the board just smacks his range so hard. He wants to get as much money in there as fast as possible. Obviously, with aces, that's the case. Daniel shoves with bottom 2 pair, which makes some sense for sure. Doesn't block a king. So when Doug has like ace king, he's probably going to call. When he has aces, he's certainly going to call. So yeah, Daniel goes for the value jam, but unfortunately gets a little bit punished there. And Daniel getting paid off with a flop straight on the right.
Yeah, small pot. Could have been bigger. It's okay. We had a 19K pot on the left, Jack 7-4-3 board. Doug with a decision. I think he's going to go for that value.
Did you see the action of this hand up to this point?
I did not.
Based on the pot size, I'm going to assume 3-bet C-bet from Daniel. And then he checks the turn, but don't quote me on that one.
All right.
Riven-esque asks, what is the reason behind the grudge match here? That is a great question. It's a long story. We actually have an article up on Upswing about it. I will link it in the chat for you guys. It's by the fantastic Haley Hintze, I believe is her name. She's a poker reporter who's been in the game for a long time. So I'll link that in a second. But right now we have a very large pot, 32K in the middle. Doug has a pot size left behind. We got 4 to a.
Well, if he jams, he's repping a 6. How many 6s are in his range here?
Not too many, but he could definitely jam like a set for value here. And heads up, you're probably going to have to do that in the spot, assuming it was indeed a 3-bet C-bet, 3-bet C-bet check the turn from Daniel.
Very true. No snap call, and Doug takes it down.
Well, taking it down. That was a good few minutes for Doug. Looks like he's about to bat around even. Keep in mind, guys, that ticker in the middle, that's just an approximation. Unfortunately, there's no real-time way to track like what they're actually up and down during the match, so we're kind of just like doing our best to give you guys a rough idea in that middle section on the screen. Just something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
And I am dropping in both chats the link for what led to this match. Someone just asked that. If anyone wants to type it in, it's just upswingpoker.com/Polk versus Negreanu match with hyphens between each word. I'll put it in each chat, though.
Yeah, I don't think I'm alone in saying I thought there'd be more bloodshed at the, or at least more trash talking at the live arena. But I understand their viewpoints on how they don't think that's sustainable for a few hours. I think it just would have been a lot better for TV and more genuine as to everything that's led up to this.
Yeah, for sure. It's an interesting. I was surprised how cordial they were too, but I'm also a little bit surprised by how people were expecting it to be very heated. Like Jeff, like if you I'm gonna ask you for example, like what sort of, so say it was like a trash talk heavy section, Daniel getting paid off with the straight on the left. Say it was a trash talk heavy live session. What does that look like exactly? So they're playing for like 3 hours in the Poker studio. Like, what does a trash talk session look like?
I mean, it'll be a lot of effort, but you're going to be talking shit to them nonstop and commenting and rubbing in every single hand you win and just berating them. It might not be pretty, but it should be damn entertaining, oftentimes hilarious, and very emotional. And that's what we're here to see.
Yeah, fair enough. I think just as entertaining as that would be, and as much as I would have loved to see how Doug would have approached something like that, I just think it's just like not super practical. Like, can you really just sit in front of someone for like 3.5 hours and just be like, "Oh, got you," as you like check raise and they fold or whatever? It just feels a little awkward and weird. Like, I mean, what are you gonna do?
As long as it's going back and forth, I think that would have been the most exciting poker content since Jamie Gold.
Fair enough. That would have been some good stuff. I 100% agree that it would have been fantastic to watch. I just don't think it like practically makes so much sense.
It would just be a lot of energy expounded, in between hands, during hands. Daniel loves the table talk. He loves talking to his opponents in a heads up pot. That's what he's known for. Let's have Doug fucking, sing a rap song to him, put on a little Nas Ether in the background and go to town.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it didn't happen, and that was pretty disappointing. But, still nice to see them play heads up in a live arena during COVID. Crazy times.
For sure. I was surprised to see that.
Yeah,
Doc Holidays asks in chat, why not say DNEG started the session plus 25,000? Is this a Doug fan stream? Yes. Are you aware you're on the Upswing Poker channel and then it's also being broadcast on Doug's channel? Like, what? Like, and also, like, come on. What's the difference? Doug with a pot-sized bet on the double paired board on the left.
Were we supposed to be unbiased? Is that?
I never said I was going to be unbiased. I'm going to try to not be a dick, but a call. And Doug does have the top boat and gets paid.
Boom.
Nice banner from Doug there.
37 G's his way. Love to see it. Yeah, and that's another thing. I was going to watch this regardless, but like having side bets on it just makes it that much more exciting. Just like, sporting event.
Yeah, for sure. Happy to have you here, and I'll probably be happy to have you on again if you're down.
Yeah, sounds great. Always down to commentate on some poker. I like you said earlier, we're not heads up specialists. We know a thing or two. I've played heads up battles in tournaments, but I'm not really open sitting heads up cash game tables. But I do know, a thing or two about playing a poker hand.
Jamie Kerstetter says, Brady, root for Daniel immediately. This is unfair. All right, I'm rooting for Daniel on this pot on the left. Officially rooting for Daniel on the Queen 7-3 as his C-bet on a 3 pot. Straight completing turn. Both players can definitely have the 4-5 some of the time here. Doug can have the 4-5 suited. Daniel can actually maybe have the offsuit ones depending on how he plays pre-flop. I believe Daniel used the big bet size, which he does tend to like the small bet sizes in 3-bet pots. So interesting to see him use the big one here. Doug does put in a third pot bet on this pretty dynamic turn. This is a pretty common line that we see from good players, and something you'd see that solvers do in 3-bet pots when you're the caller in position, and you call a flop c-bet and then face a turn check. You're going to do a lot of small betting because you have a very solid range advantage. Since you've called a bet, you've shown that you probably have something. Whereas the out-of-position player is oftentimes giving up. So that's why we kind of throw that small bet out there, a decent amount in position. Now Daniel with a lead shove. No snap from Doug. Looks like my rooting worked.
The hell is Daniel repping with this line?
Yeah, really interesting line here.
What is he repping? Queen 10? 8-9 of clubs? The hell's going on here?
I believe it was Mike McDonald who said on Twitter, do a shot every time Daniel's nutted, but Doug calls anyway. Let's see if this is one of those shot situations.
Yeah, has there been any study behind the timing of some of Daniel's play here? Takes it down.
I mean, maybe. You'd have to ask Doug, and I don't need to tell you the answer.
Yeah, it was a quick shove. Like, I'm going to guess Daniel's giving off some timing tells if, people on Doug's team are really looking into it.
Yeah, very possible. I mean, I'm sure Doug is, in just for that matter. It's hard to not give out some tell, even if it's something that's so minor that people won't even notice.
Yeah, it's all about that balance. GTO, baby.
Doug now using his smaller 3-bet size on the left table and getting the 9-6-2 flop. We've seen him use this smaller 3-bet when they're deep. And then when they're shorter, he goes around 4,100. Daniel opens to 1K. Doug normally makes a 4,100, but when they're deeper, 3,700. That's, again, from what I was saying earlier, the in-position advantage is greater when you're deeper. So Doug, it's a little bit advantageous for him as the out-of-position player to raise smaller in order to keep the pot smaller. So Daniel is winning more of a smaller pot. Goes check, check on the flop. We get the 4 of hearts turn, and Doug checks again. 7 on the river. Doug's going to be very heavy in ace high here. So is Daniel, but Daniel's probably going to have a little bit more pairs that we're trying to show down, and that might now value bet the river.
Some great analysis, Mike.
Thanks.
Oh,
Ooh, not ace high at all. That's top set for Doug. No checker. Going for the check raise on all 3 streets.
Bazam!
Set the trap. Didn't fall for it.
Kahuna Poker saying, I believe he's answering someone else saying, like, how do we know Daniel's the one playing, or how do we, for that matter, how do we know Doug's playing? Like, is there some sort of measure in here to make sure the players are not doing anything, that everything's above board, essentially? The answer is yes. There are measures in place to make sure neither player is doing anything sketchy. Super low frequency, like neither player is really concerned about it. That like they trust the other player in that sense of being concerned about the integrity of the game. But they do have measures in place to make sure neither player is being ghosted or whatever. It's not something I know for sure that I can say right now, so I'm not going to say it. But it does seem like they're all fine.
I think it was shown. I think Doug showed the measures, the 2 measures.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, so people in the chat are saying it, so it is true. They do have security cameras, which are being uploaded to some third-party server that neither person has access to, as Doug jams the 4-bet on the right.
Warm 5-bet.
First 5-bet of the day.
Probably ace king. I'm putting him on ace king.
Let's see.
D-negs with pocket eights. Oh, folds. Okay.
And it does get through.
Taking it down,
Nice hand, Doug.
guys.
Yeah, so people in the chat are saying he said publicly they have 2 security cams. That is correct. They do have, I believe, 360 degree view cameras set up in each other's spots. They're not like being fed to the other player by any means, so it's not like you can just check in on that. Like Doug can't just like open his phone and see what Daniel's looks like right now. They're being uploaded, I believe, to some server that neither player has immediate access to, but they exist, and just their existence, obviously highly makes cheating highly less likely, because at any time Doug could just go check and see that, oh, it's someone else playing. But as myself, and I'm sure all of you would expect, like, neither player's cheating here. Like, come on, it's Daniel Negreanu and it's Doug Polk. They're not going to cheat in this match.
Yeah, not much room for cheating. Doug just jammed the river on the left table a few hands ago. Huge over jam, like a king queen jack XX board, and Negreanu folded.
Yeah, was that like what, a 3x pot jam, 4x pot jam?
At least it was huge. That's no limit, baby. That is no limit.
Someone's saying, I just heard Doug. Yes, we do have some sound effects, guys. Please enjoy.
Oh, compliments of the best editor in the game, Andrew Nemi. Just kidding.
He is a good editor. Just takes him a little bit of a long time to get those videos out.
We're talking about Nemi or someone else?
Talking about Neem, yeah.
Oh, okay. No, pretty good turnover time. That shit takes a long ass time. Hours. As a general rule, it's 1 hour for 1 minute of video for a poker vlog.
Wow, so I assume you edit your own vlogs as well?
Yeah, 99% of them, unless they're like Twitch highlights. And I do it all on iMovie app, which is the most basic shit ever, but it still takes forever.
Hearing that Jeff is lagging a little bit. He's screen sharing with me so I can see the tables. I'm gonna try to set up someone else to screen share for me, so then I can see the tables and he can stop screen sharing, stop using up all of his bandwidth, which I'm apparently doing. Okay. Actually, Jeff, do you want to just stop screen sharing and you can call the action for a bit, and then I'll get that set up.
Okay, stop the screen share. Stop streaming.
Perfect. Yeah, that should make
Oh shit. WSOP just shut down.
Oh, there's Thomas hopping in there for a second. Everyone, you just got to peek at Seriously Serious on the left there. Consider it an honor. That's very rare.
Wait, can you still see me?
Yeah, we could see you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just got to put your tables up on your end.
Yeah, Nevada just geolocated booted me. That's
ridiculous.
Okay. Cool site.
You're back in, right?
No, these tables aren't even showing up.
All right, well, I'll just keep it on the stream for a second. My commentary will be a little delayed. Sorry about that, guys. Just for a minute as we get this sorted out.
Says I'm outside of Nevada. Okay.
Large pot brewing on the left. Daniel checks to Doug. We hear your complaints about the audio, guys. We're working on that. Get it better in a second. Doug with the overbet. Let's see what happens. And keep in mind, my reaction is going to be about 7 seconds delayed. Gets through.
Just logging back into WSOP. Should work. Okay, confirmed.
Thomas, are you aware that my camera is Boski on the stream? You might want to open it. Take a look. We got double Jeff today for a second there, guys.
Oh, shit.
Thanks for your patience. Thank you.
All right. I'm just going to open the YouTube channel because I can't even
do Twitch because I think the delay is like slightly smaller there.
Go to Twitch, okay.
Yeah. The stream needs female commentators. I agree. And Jamie Crusader will be back, guys. Don't worry.
Oh, mute. All right, we're good. Sorry about that. Slight technical difficulty.
We need Jamie, they say. She's great, guys. Glad you guys agree.
Dogs.
That damn dog, guys.
All right, I got Twitch up. So what's the delay? I'm looking at a 400 bet and a 2K bet.
It's about 7 seconds.
Fold.
So keep that in mind. Pretty interesting session already today. Daniel took a pretty quick, what was that, about a 40, 60K lead or something like that? And then now Doug has roared back to take a small lead, mainly on the back of that pretty standard suck out when he got coolered and then, ended up resucking with the aces versus queen 5 on king queen 5. They got it all in on the flop.
Yeah, what is that, like a 70-30, something like that?
Approximately, yeah. I don't remember if Doug had the backdoor flush draw. That probably makes a little bit of a difference.
Okay, so just to get this right, there's a 7-second delay. So how does that work when I'm watching it on Twitch?
Just like keep in mind if you say something, they will you might call an action and that something has already happened potentially. But I'm about to have the tables up. If have you figured out Skype yet? Is it not working for you?
It just doesn't even open. It's incredible.
Right, I'll have the tables up on my screen. And I'll just kind of I'll focus on calling the action a little bit more.
All right. I'll focus on other poker topics when we're not calling the action. What's going on poker Twitter? Always action packed.
All right, thanks for your patience there, guys. We did not have the tables up. I don't know if I haven't talked about this in the stream yet, but for those of you who don't know, you can't even open WSOP.com tables unless you're in Nevada, Jersey, or I believe Delaware. Is that the other state with the legal site? So anyway, can't even open the tables. So no one could watch this if streams didn't exist, including myself in California. So yeah, we just needed to get those tables up. And WSOP is a little bit finicky with staying up and geolocation, all that stuff. It's really one of the worst sites to have a challenge on, I would say. But so it goes. We have a 3-bet now on the turn from Doug. He bet the turn. Daniel raised after checking back the flop, and now his 3-bet gets through. Interesting. You do not see that very often.
Oh, never mind. I got the tables up. We're good. Finally.
Four bet from Doug now here on the left. Daniel making it 3,900. Doug making it 10K. They're about 100 blinds deep, a little bit over. So this is shoving territory if Daniel wants to 5-bet.
Bazam!
the 4-bet does get through.
Good.
Someone asked, do I have a Twitch channel? No, I do not. I am not much of a poker player these days, just a little bit. I'm the VP of Upswing Poker, so I handle a lot of the marketing and course creation. I work with the coaches on the curriculum, that kind of thing, over at Upswing. I am on Twitter, though, mbradycf. If you have any questions or anything, hit me up over there. Also on the @Upswing Poker Twitter a lot, so I'll see whatever you say there as well.
Hope you're enjoying the Heads Up ownage.
JML I played for about 7 years. Mainly a Heads Up player. Heads Up Sit and Goes and then Heads Up Cash. I was actually in Doug's stable from 2011 to like mid 2012. So I'm, somewhat familiar with how Doug plays. That was a long time ago. He plays quite a bit different, but the general principles have a lot of them have stayed the same. Though we've learned a lot more about strategy since then, obviously, with the advent of solvers and similar tools. So he's definitely playing quite a bit differently than he was back then.
Yeah. I think it was a pretty good comment you made earlier, how his pre-flop sizing changes depending on stack depth. That's one thing you want to remember as a new player is you don't want to change your sizing based upon your hand strength. You want to have a balanced sizing regardless of the situation. Board texture will change it, stuff like that, but you don't want to 5x your aces and min-raise Jack 10. People are going to catch on to that.
Most
pretty
simple,
but
yeah, especially pre-flop. Pre-flop, you're always using the same sizes. With your whole range, you can change your sizes based on stack depth, but you're not going to be changing it based on your hand. You can post-flop. You can have multiple sizes. That's definitely something people do. It's definitely something Doug is doing in this match. We've seen Daniel do it too, having multiple sizes on certain boards. But the issue with that is you have to balance both ranges, which is very difficult to balance multiple ranges. So that's usually not how we recommend starting out with your poker strategy. Once you're a experienced and advanced player, you can definitely start mixing in multiple sizes in the same spot. Doug wins with the pair of queens. Daniel missing with the ace-high flush draw on the right there. Ace-6 of spades.
But yeah, that's a good point. Just the evolution of poker, how you can have top two or you can have a straight draw and you bet the same size. So your opponent can never really get a good read on you, and they're just playing a big guessing game.
That's definitely the goal. Always want your opponents to be playing a guessing game. That's a good sign your strategy's good. Doug backdooring the full house. Classic draw there, running twos to hit it with 4-2.
A lot of momentum on Doug's side.
iBonei says, loser should have to watch Matisau's podcast in full every time he goes live for a year. That is, I don't know if either of these players would have accepted this challenge if that was on the table. That's rough.
Yeah, it's painful. It's a lot of slurring.
A lot of slurring. Can you imagine having to have a notification on your phone whenever Matisau goes live, and then you have to drop everything you're doing? That would be
torture. Torture. But old school pros are gonna do their thing. It is interesting to see the most successful players today versus 10 years ago, and how they study and take care of themselves versus just having that raw intuition.
Yeah, definitely. Intuition, still a huge asset in poker, no doubt, but it's becoming a little bit less and less important every year, but it's never going to completely be unimportant. Having a good intuition, especially in spots that are a little bit rarer in the game tree, like the turn in the river, or situations that you can't really just play like a solver does or whatever. It's still extremely important to have a good intuition in those spots. Very small bet from Doug on the right.
Yeah, I've had some coaching sessions recently where I'm always stuck with the same question, where it's like, all right, this guy limped under the gun and back raised me. I have queens. He's repping aces. They always have aces. How am I going to fold queens? You can't. But I know they have aces. You can't fold queens. Okay. You stick it in. That's the part that always gets me. It's like the population tendencies historically says they have this, but you can't just go around saying, oh, they're repping it, so I got to give them credit. It's that fine line.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a very specific read, if you know the player specifically and you know that they're extremely tight and that, they're only going to have, you said you have queens there, maybe you think there's a very high chance they only have aces, kings, and ace king, run an equity calculation, but you're probably fine to fold if you have that rock solid read. The problem is people think they have the rock solid read when they really don't. And like they'll often use what you just said, something like population tendency or game flow. They'll use some sort of amorphous meaning term like that to justify their play, and oftentimes that's the mistake. If you have a really, really like compelling evidence to make a play, you should always do it. If you know what your opponents are doing, you should always just make adjustments, of course. But the issue is we don't always know. We're guessing sometimes, and you want to avoid that.
Yeah, that's pretty much what my coach said. He's like, I don't really care how they play. I'm just going to play this style, and good luck to them beating this style. Of course, you're going to make small adjustments, but just small. Don't just be like, oh, he's got aces, I'm out of here. He's repping aces. I think that it makes a lot of sense. It's just hard implementing that.
Definitely. Doug overbetting on the turn on the right. He bet about 3,800 and 2,200, I believe. Got called on the trip king board, gets checked to. On the left table, Daniel c-bet for min, 400 into 2,000, and Doug almost checked min raised. He made it like 950. And we get this very dynamic 8 of diamonds turn, adding a lot of draws. Doug fires a third pot now. And we get the double paired river. Daniel at quite a disadvantage here in general. Doug's going to have some... Oh, and Doug's going for the overbet jam on the river on the right. 4x pot. That does get through. Oof, wow. Doug is an absolute savage with those large bets, man. I would not want to be playing against that.
And puts you to the test. Gets that heart pumping. Another big bet, 1.5x, repping a boat or nothing. He has the boat.
Wow.
Did D-Degs have an 8? We'll never know. Could be ace high.
Daniel with a quick call. I could also see it in a hand like aces.
Oh, yeah, jacks, aces, yeah, for sure. And the heater continues. The truck is backing up. Beep,
Indeed.
beep. Where's the beep?
Yeah, I think it plays, but we can't hear it. The Twitch chat and YouTube chat can't hear it. Just FYI. So there's probably noises.
Oh yeah, that's true. One of the hands I saw Kakati commentate on was the aces versus the 9-7 or whatever on the
the trip 8 board 8858.
Yeah, when Polk went with the pot size turn bet, and it says like Pio never recommends that, and that was just an exploit that he did. Adjusting to D-Neg's strategy. Yeah,
very, very possible. Very possible.
And I liked it because it set up pot. You can just the equilibrium, what's the word? Not equilibrium.
Geometric, I believe is the word.
Geometric sizing. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, so geometric sizes, for those who don't know, it's when you structure your bet sizing. So by the river, you're jamming for like a normal amount. So, you don't want to be jamming if you're Doug, you might, but you don't want to be jamming like 5 times the pot on the river or maybe be left with like 1.8 times the pot on the river. You want to be setting up a little bit more of a geometric size that, around a pot size shove a lot of the time. So that's what a geometric size would mean.
Yeah, and you can still do that with turns and rivers too, like half pot, depending on stack depth.
Overbet gets through on the left for Doug. Obsidian Potato, are you assuming Doug knows all the PO lines? I'm not assuming he knows all of them, but he's extremely studied. He's been studying a lot for this match. I would assume he's pretty damn familiar, in particular with the common lines like flop c-bet, flop check raise, turn c-bet. The spots that you get in a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of branches in that game tree. I hear a lot of branches.
Heads up is the one with the fewest branches, but still gets really complicated with these wide range spots.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and no, not good.
So a few people are asking, can someone explain why Doug or how Doug is only at 40,000 considering the stack sizes? It's a little tricky to just look at the stack sizes and try to figure out what people are up. The problem is they have auto top up on, which is one of the rules of the challenge. You have to auto top up to 40,000 after you're down. It might not be. You might be allowed like a couple hands, but you're supposed to top up to 40,000 as quick as you can. So with that happening, it's not a simple calculation of Doug has this much on the table, Daniel has this much, subtract one from the other, and that's how much they're up. It's way more complicated than that because you have to also track how much they've rebought for. So Doug started the session down around 60,000. So he had to rebuy to get back up to 40,000. So he's in for about 160K right now. So that's why you're only seeing that he's up about 40, because he's in for 160. Bet on the turn, or bet on the river from Daniel on the 4 straight board paired on the river. He's betting 3/4. Doug's 3-bet on the left gets called. We got a very similar low boards here. Daniel's bet gets through.
It's too bad there isn't going to be actual like 3-bet percentages and all the deep stats when this is over because of the WSOP site.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's Daniel. That's likely advantageous for Daniel because for those who are unfamiliar, Doug's kind of bread and butter when he was, like on the top of the heads up food chain was sort of playing someone for a bit, gathering some info about them, and then diving into Poker Tracker, really analyzing their game, looking at all the showdowns, looking at their stats, and then creating like a very, very effective counter strategy. And this was before solvers were common, so like it was even more of a like sort of unique thing to be doing that. It's not like your opponent could then just check a solver or whatever. Like doing that gave him like a really, really huge edge. And so he's very experienced with, trying to pick apart the games of really top players like Canu7 and Jungle Man and,
Sauce.
Danmer, Sauce. Yeah, for Sauce is a great one. Like he played him a ton. Like, so Doug has a lot of experience like formulating counter strategies versus those like absolute bosses. So you'd think versus Daniel, who's likely to have like a less fine-tuned game than those guys, he would be really good. So it's probably good for Daniel that there's no tracking. And that is a rule of the match, no importing the hands into a tracker.
Daniel went for a very small sizing on the turn. Doug check called, and now he goes for the pot size bet. I guess he was kind of repping a straight or 2 pair on the turn. Now he's not scared of a flush. What do you think of this?
I mean, it's definitely a spot where you're, if you're betting, you're jamming. He can certainly both players can certainly have flushes. I mean, not anymore. Doug would have called it a flush already, of course. Doug is likely tanking with a straight. I don't see him hero calling with like a set here, though. You never know. Maybe 6s with a diamond or something that, decides to call because of the blocker. Yeah, Daniel could be bluffing here. Could have a hand like, it's actually kind of hard for him to be bluffing. It's hard for me to think of many. I was thinking like an ace of diamonds 8. Ooh, wow.
Wow.
The ace high call, and Daniel's good with the 2s. Wow, that is a crazy hand.
Wow, that was thin.
Daniel going for the thin value bet and getting it all. Very impressive from Daniel there. Brings us to about even on the session. Doug has made a couple of those ace high calls on the river. He had one in the last session with ace jack. Wasn't a similar board, but it was like a 3 to a straight sort of like middling low board that he called a 25K and like 40K on the river with ace jack high, and Daniel just had like kings. So yeah, interesting to see him look up Daniel a couple times there. I mean, I think I'm probably not alone intuiting that Daniel is not likely to be a player who's doing like a lot of river bluffing. So I would expect Doug to like not be making so many of those calls. But, maybe he has a different reason for it, or maybe he does believe that Daniel is doing some bluffing. He did have the ace of diamonds. I know that's the only reason he was considering it, but I am still surprised to see that call. Doug's pot size delay C bet gets through on the left.
Yeah, it seems very thin for a pot size jam there with the bottom end of the straight when the flush completes. Seems pretty optimistic, but good shove by Daniel. Got paid by ace high. Total bluff catcher by Doug. Thought he was just speeding.
Indeed, and he was not.
Wow.
Cairo Leo HS says dangerous assumption could be part of Daniel's strategy to bluff rivers. Indeed. I mean, I don't think Daniel is going into this saying I'm not going to bluff rivers. It's just potentially that he just for whatever reason would be not bluffing rivers. For whatever reason he would not be apt to do that. But I do agree that's very, very dangerous assumption, similar to what Jeff and I were talking about earlier with making assumptions and changing your strategy a lot based on like shaky evidence. Sometimes that evidence is just your intuition thinking that something is the case.
Yeah,
Doug is generally not a folder. Sorry to cut you off. What were you gonna say?
No, that's right. The ebbs and flows of a heads-up match. Big game of paper, rock, scissors at times. But I think Doug's just going to say, "Hey, I'm going to play a solid strategy, and good luck beating it." Slight adjustments, and going to do a 1-minute restroom break. We're halfway through the match, and I'll be right back.
Doug Seabeck gets through the Riverbeck gets through. Oh, good time for Jeff to go to the bathroom because we have Daniel sitting out. Looks like he's going to take a quick bathroom break as well. Anton asks, is it likely to go longer than 2 hours tonight? They've been playing 2 hours for every session, but they did say, or Doug tweeted, I should say, recently that they're going to try to start doing more volume, which is understandable because playing 2 hours for 3 days a week would be it would take a long time to get this done. They're playing at least 12,500 hands, possibly 25,000 hands. I mean, we're talking about going into like March if they're only playing 2 hours 3 times a week. So I would expect them to start playing longer sessions, but I'm not sure. But Morton asks, any chance for more than 2 hours to play today? Yes, I think there is a chance. And if they play, I will be here. We can't see the player chat. It doesn't matter really because there's no player chat on WSOP. If you type anything, it's just 3 dots. So it's not relevant to see the chat. Doug's sitting out too now. I don't know what that means. By the way, guys, I don't know if you were all here for the first session, but the first session of this match, Daniel was sitting on the top seat on one table and the bottom seat on the other. And you guys were absolutely losing your shit. Like, I would say 80% of the chat was just flip the tables in all caps. It was really, really infuriating. Both your chat was, and I mean, it was understandable that you wanted to be that way, but we didn't have the power to switch their seats because we're not at the table. At the beginning of this session, Doug sat on the top table on one, the bottom table on the other, and I actually texted him like, "Please switch seats on one table, or we're gonna get a lot of shit, and it's gonna be annoying." And he did listen. So if you want to thank Doug on Twitter for that, please do. I already thanked him, but he deserves so many more thanks for that because right before 200-400 match, checking his phone to make sure, and then doing that for the stream, much appreciated.
Yeah. So just thinking about that ace-king hand, like I know nothing about heads up clearly, but wouldn't it be better for Doug to just jam with the ace of diamonds blocker as opposed to check call?
Lead jam the river?
Yeah.
Perhaps. It's just not, that's not really a line I'd ever expect Doug to take because it would be like I don't think there's like leading that happens in that spot. Like theoretically, like you wouldn't lead, because Daniel raised the turn in a 3-bet pot, I believe. So it had to be 3-bet because Doug had ace king. So Daniel raised the turn, Doug calls on. I don't think the river changed the texture enough for Doug to like have a leading range. So he just got to check his whole range, and that's kind of how Doug does it. He's not like exploitatively. Maybe you can jam that ace king in there and get some good folds, but I think Doug's not really that type of player, so I wouldn't expect to see that. Daniel with a small bet on the left in this large pot, 2,812K. He's betting. Raise from Doug. It's a pretty small raise in relation to the pot. Daniel's getting almost 4-1. And he does fold, he being Daniel. We did just get approved, by the way, to those watching on Twitch, we did just get approved for the affiliate situation. This is a new channel. We had never really used the Upswing Poker Twitch channel. Did just get approved as an affiliate. Pretty soon we'll have emotes. We'll be breaking out the cookie jars, the dongers, everything you guys could want. I think we just need another day or two for like I don't know, whatever the forms to be accepted. Oh, jam on the river from Doug here on the right.
Big jam.
Daniel bet 4,700 into 6K on this King Queen 7-5-6 board, and Doug does get the fold.
Nice.
So Doug's in for about 160K. So what does that make him up right now? 20K, right? Yeah. 3-bet getting through on the right for Doug.
It is cool how Daniel agreed to the deep stacks are fine mentality, like no resetting tables.
Very thug. I do, if I can say so myself. Like that is.
I like that.
That's awesome, especially if they start playing longer sessions. I mean, we could see. I haven't really more than I think on the left here is pretty much the deepest we've seen them. They're about 175 blinds or so. But I could definitely see if they start playing longer sessions, they might start having some 100K stacks going up against each other. We could see a 200K pot in this challenge. Would be pretty cool. It is rare to see 250 blinds go in heads up, but it is possible. Hands like jacks and tens and ace king, they don't even always end up getting it in pre. Becomes kind of a spew at 250 blinds depending on the specifics of the spot. So we do end up seeing a lot of flops. So to see a 200K pot, it would likely have to be some sort of really nasty post-flop cooler, but it's possible.
Nice.
If you're watching on YouTube, by the way, hit that subscribe button to Doug's channel if you're not one of the 300,000 who already subscribed. So you get notified next time we go live.
I just subscribed to the Twitch channel. The best $4.99 I ever spent. Upswing poker. Can't wait for these emotes.
Hell yeah. Daniel wins on the right. That 3-bet pot with ace king. Looks like 1 bet went in post flop there.
Oh shit,
Mike McDonald is going absolutely crazy. God, tough to not love Mike McDonald. Speaking of Mike McDonald, if you do want to bet on this match, I believe the only option is poker shares. I don't think they take US people, unfortunately, but you can at least go check out the lines, check out the site. It's a really cool thing he's set up over there.
Yeah, Mike McDonald, quite the legend. Don't prop bet against him unless you don't want to win.
Yeah, he's a special guy.
Very smart guy. He's a good follow on Twitter too, Timex. Some smart stuff, some funny stuff too. Well,
mandatory follow if you're in the poker Twitter situation.
Yeah, or crypto. Big into crypto guy, that Mike McDonald.
Ooh, suggestion, pull for felt color. That is a great idea. Yeah, screw it. If you guys want to keep seeing this red felt, throw a 1 in the chat. If you want to switch to green, might be a little easier on the eyes. I don't know. Hit 2 in the chat right now. We'll switch it if that's preferred. We have a large pot brewing on the right. 9-4-6 king jack. 20K in the middle right now. Daniel checks over to Doug.
Ace queen.
Daniel's gonna win it with ace queen high. Looks like nice hand for Daniel. Doug likely with the ace high himself. I believe he 4-bet there. Doug's small check raise on the left gets through. Man, that is some good value. Daniel bets 400 into 2K on the left. Doug makes it 900, so he's risking 900 to win. What is that, like 2,400? Pretty good price, and does get through.
Yeah, I've been hearing these small check raises are PIO approved. I don't know, back in my day, if you're not check raising 3x, that's not a check raise.
Yeah, what I suspect is particularly against Daniel using the small size, he's doing so with quite a wide range, especially on a board like Queen 9-9. And a lot of those hands that with the wide range, they're just total trash, take 5-4 on Queen 9-9. So he has a lot of hands like that. So the small check raise, when you're playing maybe 6 max or playing tournaments where you're playing against someone who might have raised in the cutoff position, therefore they only have a good hand, they might have a suited connector at the worst or whatever, but we're playing heads up. So Daniel's button range is super, super wide, and then he's c-betting super, super wide. So even though it's a small raise, he only has to call 500, there's a lot of hands that there's just not anything he could do. What are you going to do, float 5 high or whatever? A little bit too savage. So it makes sense that those small raises actually are used by the solvers a little bit.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Interesting to see how the computer thinks about different situations and how we can adapt it to our own strategies.
Indeed.
Doug with the 3-bet, a little bit smaller, like you said. He was going 4,100 for a while.
Ooh, and Daniel puts in the 4-bet. Doug wins with the pair of 3s on the left. And the 4-bet gets through for Daniel.
Would you say Doug is the stickier opponent?
Certainly. I think Doug's reputation is going to precede him a little bit in this challenge. I mean, I know in general he's not a guy who does a lot of folding, and that's based on what I've seen and like when he's played in like whatever TV show game or any situation where the cards are up. I have noticed that people like to get pretty call-y versus him because he does a lot of bluffing and he's notorious for that. Apologies for that chip sound. He does a lot of bluffing and he's notorious for that, and he's also does a lot of calling. And I've noticed people give up with a lot of bluffs on the river against him. Could just be variance. Maybe I just saw a few hands where people were deciding to take those lines versus Doug kind of for another reason, but does seem like his reputation precedes him against a lot of people.
Yeah, I think he said it helps his overall game where people are less likely to bluff him if they just assume he's calling way too much. So that's going to work out in his favor in the long run. And I remember when he was playing in Vancouver, playing the W Coop and stuff, one of the things he kept saying was, hey, sometimes it's just your turn to die in tournaments. I'm not going to fold jacks. It'll be a cold day in hell before I fold jacks. And he's like, yeah, I lost. It's okay. That's how tournaments go. I want to be chip leader at the final table or I'll be out, and that's fine. And I think that's the right mentality.
Yeah, makes sense. You definitely can't be afraid to lose in a poker tournament.
Yeah,
that's one of the only ways to almost for sure lose.
Scared money don't make money. I'll tell you that. I remember like at just the local win tournaments, you'd have all these like random gamblers just crushing it that barely even knew how to play poker. And they just embrace the gamble so much, it just works out compared to like check folding and just blinding out.
Definitely. Occasionally you build a big stack, set yourself up in a good spot. Doug going for the large 4-bet here, and it does get through to win that pot pre-flop. Kind of going off what we were saying earlier, where Doug is kind of trying to control the size of the pot, make it larger when he's in position and they're deeper, and make it smaller when he's out of position and they're deeper. And he's doing that via his 3-bet and 4-bet and open sizes. Right there, we saw him use a slightly larger 4-bet because he is in position with the deep stack. By the way, I'm hearing reports that this chat or the chat does not like the black felt. How do we feel about the black felt thing? Do we want to go back to green? Hit 1. If you like the black, please hit 2. By the way, Streamrunner, the right table is like a little bit off. I hate that I just said that because a bunch of people are now going to notice it when they didn't before. But if you can slide that over just a few ticks. Actually, kind of seems like people like the black, so I'm really sorry. Really sorry to the people who aren't a fan of it. Looks like it's going to stay. Jamie Kerstetter, she voted for the green, so that's worth 2 votes, but it's not going to be enough. Yeah, looks like 2. Actually, just so it's a slightly more scientific, I'm going to put it on the Upswing Twitch or Upswing Twitter because I can't quite see who's voting for which one.
Straw poll.
Oh, straw poll. I forgot about that. Good idea. Thank you.
There we go. I think they're all pretty reasonable. Red, green, black.
I think they're all fine, but chat always has preferences. You know them. We have a raise on the right from Doug. DNX c-bet this flop for 400 into 2,000. Doug called, and then it checked down from there. Daniel bet the river, and Doug's check raising quite large. Daniel needs to call about 10K to win 17. So this is a slight overpot.
I expect Doug to have some sort of double blocker, like an ace 10 with the ace of diamonds. I think that'd be a good candidate.
Get called. Daniel with the 2s. Doug with the king 8 blocking the exact hand Daniel had.
Wow.
That is why Doug chooses a hand like that to raise. He has both the blocker to 2-pair, hand like Daniel had, a river 2-pair, and he also blocks a flush that Daniel might have. So that's why he chooses a hand like that.
Yeah, unlucky. Daniel had those 2 pairs.
All right, I've got a straw poll here for the table colors. Here you go.
Where are you living now, Mike?
I'm in San Diego.
Oh, nice.
Good old San Diego, California. It's very nice here these days. Well, relative.
It's historically the best weather in the world, from what I hear.
Indeed.
Been there once to Ocean Beach. Almost went to the little SeaWorld thing there, but I felt bad for the animals. Didn't want to contribute.
Yeah, I haven't went to SeaWorld yet for that exact reason. As much as I want to see like some animals like that, I can't give them money.
I remember Joe Rogan was tripping on mushrooms once, and he took his kids to SeaWorld, and he started freaking out. They're like, they're all prisoners. I just want to free them.
Wait, who was that freaking out?
Joe Rogan.
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, I don't blame him. It's weird.
It's fucking weird, man.
Some people want the poll to have more choices in the poll. That's funny. Wow, it's black 52%, green 48%. That is sickening.
Oh, it's like the election.
Pretty much leaving it up to my discretion, guys. It's not cool. At least have one of these pull away a little bit. Okay, black pulling away a little.
Stop the count.
I'm gonna link it one more time for you guys. There's the poll to see what color.
Taking it down, nice.
Thomas, I don't know if you can hear me, but the right table is a little bit off. If you could like slide it over like about 15 pixels.
He just looked at you like 15 pixels. Come on.
Precision. Precision. Wow, nice value bet from Doug there.
Love to see it.
I like that straw poll site. That's really helpful.
Yeah, I saw Andy Milanakis was using it during his stream. I was like, oh, it's a pretty good idea,
Indeed. Always need a poll to link out to people. Stop this pop-up, please. It's ridiculous. Oh, man, that's funny. I don't have control of the pop-ups, and I'm not telling the person who does have control of them to stop. It's up to him. I trust his judgment to do pop-ups.
Yeah. All right, we got almost 14K on the old 76395 board. Does Doug have a big leading range here? If so, what's his sizing? 30%?
What was the action here? I'm sorry. It was Doug check calls in a 3-bet pot. Doug with a river straight. Damn.
Did it. Setting the trap again. D-Neg's too passive. You can't trap this guy. Come on.
No, wrong guy to trap, at least today. Daniel's not having the right hits.
He loves calling, Doug. He loves sleeping well at night, like a baby. He'll call any bet.
Notorious. Daniel's a caller. He's probably saying Doug's exact hand right before clicking the call button.
Knew it. Yep. I had to see it. Classic.
Actually, I do wonder how much that was like a conscious thought from Daniel, like a long time ago. I'd probably guess not, but where like he knows he's going to be on TV a lot, and he's like, if every time I'm about to make like a sort of hero call, if I call out sort of the hand I'm worried about, it sort of covers his ass and like makes his brand look really good, because like he sort of can't lose when he does that in the public eye. So I do kind of wonder how much that was like a cognizant thought of his, because it is really good for his image to like always be calling it, and then so he's sort of right either way. He either calls and they're bluffing and he's good, or he called their hand or something similar to it. I'm gonna guess it's just who he is, but would be interesting to know.
I think you're right with the psychology, because I've seen YouTube highlight videos of top 10 Daniel Negreanu soul reads. So he's like, "Oh, you got the flush? I call it flush. Knew it. Got him." Like, no, that's not a soul read. You got to fold.
You do have to fold, especially on TV. I mean, you get to see what they had later. You actually can sleep at night. It just might take a few months for them to produce it and stuff.
Yeah.
What part of the U.S. is Jeff's accent from? What's the answer to that, Jeff?
That's a good question. My girlfriend was even questioning my accent the other day. I grew up in Michigan, 25 years in Michigan and 12 years in Vegas. So Some people say I have a Midwest accent. Some people said I sound like I'm from Texas. Of course, I don't notice it. Just
yeah, nice mix for sure. I'm going to cut you off real quick because we have a decent-sized pot on the left here. The turn ace, Daniel 3-bet. Oh, they both have king, queen. So Daniel 3-bet there. They both checked on the flop, and then Daniel put in a big bet on the turn, and then they checked it down. Makes some sense for sure. I would probably like to see a C-bet from Daniel on that flop, but I can't imagine a check is so bad at some frequency at least.
Yep, on the king, queen, 7-5 board, D-Negs bet 1.5 pots, and Doug check called. 10 on the river doesn't change too much. Don't expect many gut shots in Doug's range. Some 2 pairs possibly. Will D-Neg empty the clip?
Let's see what D-Negs decides to do here.
What hands would he arrive at this river with that he'd turn into a bluff? Ace-4 diamonds? That's
a good question. It is a pretty unusual line that he took here. I believe he checked back and raised, so it's always kind of hard to put people on hands in these spots. I mean, he could definitely. The strong hands are somewhat obvious. The high card hands that now have 2 pair sets, straights, whatever. Doug is going to be in a pretty tough spot here with a lot of his hands. Daniel could just be airballing with a hand like 8-9, something like that. That decided to raise the turn.
That makes sense.
By the way, someone asked, can you change it to big blinds? I don't think we can.
No, not
that said, though, I don't think we would. Just from a sort of viewer perspective, I think people like to see the big numbers. I know a lot of more like sort of grinder-y poker players are going to prefer the blinds because that's what they're used to looking at. That's how they're used to thinking about the game. But it's a little bit more exciting to see a bet of 20,000 instead of 50 big blinds. So even if we could change it, I don't think we would.
Yeah, the dollar amount's way more sexy. Same thing with tournaments on ACR. Like I can have 22 big blinds or I can have 22 million chips. 22 million chips looks a lot better.
Definitely. Klazeg asking, is the 25-9-16 after the heavy loss or after the live loss, or is it online only? That's the whole challenge, so it doesn't include the live portion. Doug's overbet gets through on the left. Doug's in for about, if you guys, the tracker we have in the middle there is updated manually, but if you guys want to kind of keep track on your own, in your own head, I'm doing my best, but Doug's in for about 160K right now. That's probably the best way to be able to figure out who's up what, is just keeping track of what one player's in for. And yeah, Doug's in for about 160K right now. So he's up about, not including the money in the middle, about 15K. Has Daniel called an overbet this session? I do not recall. Good question.
There's some more D-Negs controversy. I saw, I think, a thread on 2+2 about the World Series of Poker main event champion being dethroned. What's going on with that?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't even. He's not even really getting a chance to defend. I mean, I guess he is, but not in the traditional way. We're running another World Series of Poker main event. I mean, why not, right?
He was stripped of his title, and D-Negs endorses the stripping of his title.
That you're alleging. I can't confirm that. 2-pair value bet gets called from Daniel on the right. Nice hand, Daniel there.
Oh, we have confirmation from a third-party source. Whispers of money grab. I don't know what that means, but money grab has come up in the chat. But it looks like we're going to have another World Series main event. And if you get COVID, you get 9th place. So dodge the COVID if you're lucky enough to get to that final table. That'd be a bad beat. Or you can hire people to give your opponents COVID. That'd be pretty lucrative too.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. That's a scary and interesting thought.
I've always worried about people putting hits out on November Niners, but you don't even have to hit them. You just got to give them a little taste of the COVID. They're out of the game. You're playing heads up.
That would be quite a creative way to increase your EV at the final table, the biggest tournament in the world. But it is theoretically possible.
Yeah, I have no part of this. It's just a random thought of mine.
we have a 3-bet pot on the left and the right. Got a couple high boards. Left board is obviously going to be quite a bit better for Negreanu. Him having all the aces, kings, queens, ace, king, etc., and his small c-bet does get through. On the right table, Daniel checks. This one's a little closer to even in terms of who has the advantage. Still Daniel as the 3-better, but Doug has a lot of strong hands on this board too. Get a pretty dynamic turn there, the 9 of clubs.
Oh, that's a wet board right there. Love a wet board.
Mike McDonald Poker says, give your 8 opponents a free stay at the Rio, guaranteed COVID.
Or Legionnaire's disease. They're known for spreading Legionnaire's, allegedly.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think I'll be playing that 10K main event this year. I'm going to sit this one out. Too much paranoia.
Yeah, fair enough. I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Check down pot on the right. See what Doug decides to do. No bets of one in here, just a 3-bet preflop from Daniel. About 3/4, 2/3 from Doug.
Looks like value to me.
Daniel in a pretty easy spot with a lot of his like 1-pair hands, just a pretty clear call. He does decide to raise. This could be a hand like, kings with a club or something that decides to bluff. Doug quickly folds though.
Turning pairs into bluffs is some high tech shit. Most people don't think like that, but it's necessary for games like this.
Definitely. There's going to be situations you get in where you simply don't have too many nothings in your range, and at that point you got to look at the bottom of your range, and if it's a pair, you might have to bluff with it.
Yeah. Turning a bluff catcher into a bluff. That's high stakes poker, baby.
Speaking of high stakes poker, I'm really excited for that to be back. Very excited.
Yeah. Just like they don't switch tables. You see bigger pots on here. I really hope the high stakes poker, they don't run it twice and 3 times and all that shit. That really takes away from the 200K pot if it's now a 66K pot. No running it multiple times. We're here for the entertainment, people.
Yeah, we're here for blood. We want big numbers.
Yeah, max pain. People stuck, reloading, pawning watches at the table.
I still think back to that one season of high stakes poker, the Jamie Gold season, that is just so epic with where he has the money, and at one point he has like no chips. He was like going to the airport, and he's just like he wants to bet like 1,700, but he like Doug gets a nice value bet through there on the left with the 10s to win an 8K pot.
He's peeling them out. He's just peeling them off the stack. We're like,
yeah, he's like I bet 1,800, and he counts 1,800 in bills and like puts it there. And another one, he says, I bet whatever's in my hand, and he just like puts it out there, and it's like some random amount. Oh, it's just too good. If you haven't seen that season of High Stakes Poker with Jamie Gold, it's like season 3 or 4. I think they're all on YouTube. Oh man, that is some entertainment.
It's so pure. Yeah, I like how they do the run it back thing on YouTube now with Remco. Have you seen those?
I've not. I've kind of seen a little bit of one, but it's a very cool idea.
Yeah. Get someone that was there to commentate either on a final table or high stakes cash game.
4-bet here from Doug on the left. 10.5K over Daniel's 4K open. They're playing about 110 blinds deep there. It does get through. Daniel's going to take a quick break. Do you have the tables up now, Jeff, on your screen?
Yeah, I got them.
Sweet.
They weren't spawning. It was so weird. It couldn't geolocate me. It must be something to do with Discord.
Yeah, it might be. WSOP does not gel well with other programs.
Yeah, for their own safety, I'm sure, but a lot of problems.
199 Truman saying Doug is down 43K now, not 5. I don't know how you would know that. I don't think that's true. I think he's in for 160 right now, so that put him about even. He's in for 160K. Okay. So I'll update that. But maybe you're right. Maybe our count's off. We will know at the end of the session. It's kind of the best we could do is just estimate, keep that thing in the center, give you guys a ballpark for how they're doing this session. And then after the sessions are over, Doug always tweets out what the results were within about half an hour of the session ending. And then we update the page directly below the results. You can see it. It says match rules and tracking. And then there's a link, upswingpoker.com/heads-up-for-grudge, HU for grudge. So go to that page. That has like all the updates. You can stay up to date on the challenge if you miss a session or whatever. And you can also always just rewatch the sessions on Doug's YouTube. And we also just started saving VODs on Twitch. So you can check them out there too. Are they done now? I think they got at least another half-hour play left. What were you going to say, Jeff? Sorry.
Do they have to be subscribed to Upswing to watch the vids or follow?
I didn't say anything because I'm not sure. Not sure what the settings are.
Okay. But it doesn't hurt to sub or follow. Follow is free. You'll be alerted when we go live, usually around 2:30 most days when they're playing.
Yeah, we'll try to go live just a couple minutes early just to give people a chance to get in. But there seem to be creatures of habit, these two guys. So we're going to play 2:30 p.m. Pacific time, 10:30 GMT. Likely every other weekday. They might start adding in a weekend day, probably Saturday, because I know Doug likes to watch football on Sunday. Doug, getting 4-bet on the left. Daniel's 4-bet gets through.
Let's see. People are asking for my Twitch stream. It's just Jeff Boski on Twitch and Jeff Boski on YouTube if you like some poker vlogs in Las Vegas. There you go.
Yeah, long-time tournament player, guys. Check his stuff out.
Hell yeah. 15 years in the game, never went broke. Almost, but never completely broke.
Kyr Leo HS, a clock would be a good addition next time, like a timer. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Do you mean like a timer, like how long the session has been going? I see what you mean. There is the one on the top right of the table, although I'm not sure that's like the most accurate because it might be like from when the table was opened or something weird like that. But that said, if you look at the current results, the first sentence, Doug is even this session, which started at 2:30 p.m. So that'll always tell you when it started. I know it's a little tricky with time zones, but there is Google. Just Google time zone conversion or whatever. Not too big of a deal.
Yeah, 2 hours. 2 hours every day. Or not every day, but when they play.
Yeah, I have to imagine they're going to start playing longer sessions soon because this will take a long, long time, especially if they go to 25K hands.
Yeah, they're averaging, 400 hands a day?
Not even, I don't think. Let me. I'm going to pull up that Heads Up for Grudge page. Again, upswingpoker.com/heads-up-for-grudge for all the challenge sort of recaps, links to rewatch the challenges, all that stuff. Most recent session, 365. Session before that, 366. Session before that, 382. The next one, 424. So yeah, they're playing much less than 400 hands on average per session.
Yeah, we might be almost 100 sessions at this rate. Or wait.
Yeah.
Oh, my math's way off. 30 sessions, 40 sessions, yeah.
Yeah, depending if they go 25 or 12.5.
Yeah. Let me ask you, Mike, you can say no comment if you want. I've heard whispers about a 2 million to 20 million heads-up match. Do you know about that one?
2 million to 20 heads-up. Yeah, I believe that's a Dan Bilzerian. The Instagram guy, Dan Bilzerian, is interested in getting a piece of Doug. He wants to get in there. They've had some battles on Twitter before. There are definitely two guys that their personalities, just knowing if you know anything about either of them, you know that these two guys are not going to like each other, not going to gel. So that would be quite a grudge match too. But Dan Blitzerian wanted 10-1 on 2 million. I don't think Doug is going to offer 10-1 on a heads-up challenge. Don't see it happening.
That'd be an excellent challenge. Great publicity for that one. 20 million versus 2 million for Doug. If he can negotiate the terms a little bit better, I think that'd be something everybody wants to see.
Definitely. I do know Doug's opinions about side bets in general, which is that generally he's not going to want to do side bets in heads-up challenges because he feels that the side bets benefit the side bet. Having a side bet is disadvantageous to the player who is better at the game they're playing, because it adds another element. Whereas if that element isn't there, Doug can just focus on playing the most plus max EV line every hand. He doesn't have to worry about other stuff like a challenge or whatever. So, or a particular side bet or whatever. So, yeah, he generally is going to be pretty slow to accept side bets. But that said, against Dan Bilzerian, if that's how he gets the action, I would bet that Doug makes an exception to his no side bet rule.
Yeah, I would love to see that go down. I think it'd be great for upswing poker and just poker community altogether. Get more of the game.
That'd be very cool. Very, very cool.
But there's rumors of, Bilzerian having financial problems nowadays and his Ignite company allegedly losing a lot of money. But who knows what's true?
Yeah, that's an interesting business.
Yeah, CBD. CBD, marijuana, big money. That's why it's legal everywhere now. 20% revenue to the government.
8K bet on the left from Daniel into this 11K pot. It does get through. That, I believe, puts Daniel in the lead on the day by like, $1,000 or $2 by our count. Doug's in for about 160K. Yeah, Droid Phoenix saying, yeah, you saw in the first Galthon challenge, it led to some wildly unique theory effects late in the challenge. That's right. Yeah, so if you can imagine when there's only a few hands left, say there was, extreme example, say there was only 10 hands left of this challenge, and Doug was up by some really nominal amount, like, say, 10K. He would just want to fold every hand if there was a side bet because he locks up the side bet win. But if there's no side bet, Doug gets to play those last 10 hands optimally. He gets to play as good as possible, and that is the case throughout the entire challenge. So it's sort of like the EV of assuming Doug, assuming you buy that Doug is the better player between him and Negreanu, a side bet decreases Doug's EV in every hand, particularly the later ones, depending on the situation, for the whole challenge. So it's simply put, it's higher EV for Doug to not have a side bet.
Makes sense. Yeah, I'd rather just play it straight up. Just win X amount of money, call it a day.
Raise here from Daniel on the right. Doug, he checked back the flop. Doug bet. Daniel raises.
Yeah, interesting to have a raising range there on that texture. What's he repping, a king? Come on.
Yeah, I would imagine he would have to be raising some kings if you're going to play like that.
Yeah.
Try to get some thin value. And then, maybe check back a 4 some of the time on the flop. Raise that as well, something like that, perhaps. It is an interesting strategy, though. 3-bet on the right from Daniel and 4-bet from Doug. Doug going quite large with this 4-bet. That's larger than he was going earlier when they were even deeper, so that's interesting to see. Queen 8-8 board. Daniel definitely going to have more 8s in his range than Doug after this pre-flop action, but pretty blank. Not going to have too many 8s. It's not as blank if it was 2-2 queen, but 8 is not super relevant. It's more relevant because of these straight draws.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what hands he has as his 3-bet folds and 3-bet calls. Where he draws the line. Like, is he folding 8-7 suited, 8-6 suited?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think in the live session that they played on Poker Go, he had 3-bet some hands. Like, I think he had like a king 5 off 3-bet or something. So you know that those kind of offsuit gapper hands are definitely hitting the muck versus a 4-bet. If he did 3-bet a hand like king 7 suited or king 10 suited, I can't imagine those hitting the muck. Usually got to peel because you're just going to be getting a pretty good price. Though Doug did make his 4-bet pretty large. Queen on the turn, definitely much better for Daniel than Doug. Doug can probably check his whole range on the turn there, just because he needs to protect it with how many more queens Daniel's expected to have. Doug is not super likely to 4-bet a queen preflop. We did see him 4-bet queen jack a few sessions ago, so he does have some queens in his 4-bet range at some frequency, but not. It's mainly going to be Daniel who has the queens, hands like king queen, ace queen, queen jack, etc. Daniel goes for the really small bet on the river. Smells like an 8 to me. Going for an exploitative bet. I think this is a spot where Daniel wants to play a large size, and Doug shoves. Doug representing a queen now puts Daniel in a really tough spot if he has an 8. Wow, this is a really interesting hand.
Yeah, D-Nex could have a flush too and just think he's bluffing. What hands would Doug bluff with here, taking this line?
Oof, man, it's tough to even imagine how to choose bluffs there. I would think you want to block the most likely queens in Daniel's range, so maybe a hand like King Jack,
Hope you're
you know,
enjoying
that
the
blocks
heads up.
like whatever the specific King Jack that blocks Queen Jack suited. Uh,
Mhm.
that the available Queen Jack suited combos, hand like that. Maybe Ace King blocks Ace Queen and King Queen. But
Maybe Jack 9 could block an 8 and queen a little bit.
Yeah, that could be a better one for sure. It's really hard to say. It's going to be kind of minor differences between how effective each of these hands are as bluffs. The bigger question for Doug is like regulating those frequencies to make sure he's not just like, bluffing every single time he has one of those types of hands, because then that's just going to be way too much bluffing. So it's mainly going to be about how he chooses his frequencies there than like the specific hand selection, though I'm sure he has a very precise and well thought out way to choose his hand selection there.
Well articulated again, Mike. You are the best at this. Jeez.
Thanks, buddy. Mexican Garga saying, I don't understand why they won't show hole cards. It's so dumb. I don't know. People who have that question, I know most people watching understand, but for those who don't, this challenge is not it's not like a viewer production first. At the end of the day, this is a high stakes poker match where two people are trying to win as much money as possible from the other person. They are not going to sacrifice EV, which they would be doing by showing cards, particularly Daniel. Daniel would have to be the one to agree to it because he's the one who disagreed. Doug was okay showing whole cards. Doug was fine with it, but Daniel did not, and that's a wise decision because it likely would have hurt his EV, and that's totally understandable. You can't. They can't put the view. They care about you guys for sure, but they can't put the viewers first when it's millions of their own dollars on the line.
Doug just hit DNAG with the huge river check raise again and got the fold. Pretty interesting. The thing is, like the very first hand of their heads up battle that was live in the studio, when someone puts that big bomb check raise on the river on you, you start to doubt your river value bets because it starts creeping in your head like, oh man, he might just check raise and get me off my top pair here.
Hello, Thomas. We're back. Fired up. Sorry about that, guys. We're using Discord to do the commentary, and it just crashed randomly. Apparently, site-wide. I'm not even sure what happened because it went down for all of us. Really weird.
Hello.
Hey, sorry about that, Jeff. Though it wasn't really our fault. It was Discord's.
Okay. Back.
I believe we're back.
I can see me. I can hear you. I can see Thomas. Thomas looking good. Mike loading up. Oh, I think I see you on Twitch, just not on my end.
Chat, can you guys hear us? Throw a 1 in the chat if you can hear us, please. I'm going to just commentate as if you can. Hopefully I'm not just talking to no one. Bet on the river from Daniel. Yeah, I guess I'm talking to you. All right, we got ones in the chat. We're good. Sorry about that, guys. Nice. Discord got a little mad. Discord update, someone said. I see. That makes sense. Daniel's bet gets through on the left. Yeah, not much we could do when the entire program we use just decides to do a client-wide update, crash everyone. Pretty funny.
It happens.
Yeah, every stream has technical difficulties once in a while. The two are about even right now. Not count.
Yeah.
Doug's probably up about 6K if you include the money in the middle, but about even. Doug 3-bets on the left using his smaller the ace 10 6 flop. Someone, Occam's Razor, great name by the way, just asked what headphones am I using. It's a, what is it? Sony MDX 1000 or something like that. They're pretty good. I've never really used noise canceling headphones though, so I don't really know relative to other ones. Full house over full house on that right table on the trip tens board. Daniel winning a nice little pot, and then Doug getting a bet through in the 3-bet pot on the left to win a nice little pot.
Very nice. Doug using the bigger opening sizing now that they're effectively 150 blinds deep.
What size did he go with? 950?
918 or something.
we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I think he goes 910 normally, and then when they get to like 150 blinds, he goes to like 930, and then a little deeper he goes to like 960. I'm not positive though. It's like, or 950. It's like something like that.
He's at 926 now. Is he really typing that in, or is there like a program?
He's typing for sure. He's a big typer.
Really? I thought there's like a program that automates your open sizes and stuff.
I think there is, but he's from what I've known about Doug, he's always been a typer.
Gotcha.
Very precise with his bet sizes, so makes sense that you want to type.
Well, like he's betting 1874.32 on the right here. I don't think
that one has to be a button, like 66% pot or whatever, like on the client, a button, a client on the button, yeah. But the pre-flop sizing specifically.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Daniel just gives it one click to the 2.5.
Gotta respect it. Easier.
Yeah. And Doug's on 948 on the right, so slight difference. Or they say the money's made in the margins. Is that like a phrase?
It is a phrase for sure. Yeah, sorry guys, we didn't update that setter thing for a little while because they were legitimately like within 10K of even for like a good 30 minutes there. So yeah, I just didn't think to update it.
It's quite the battle. Maybe one time, if Negreanu is break even, do you think he's just going to say, "All right, one more hour, let's do overtime"?
Yeah, I could see that happening. I mean, he might be in the groove right now. Someone's saying 1/2 pot, 3/4 pot, and pot are the 3 buttons that the client offers. So yeah, it makes sense.
Oh, 3/4. Okay, 75%.
Well, that was a 40% bet from Doug there. So maybe there is some sort of custom bets, something, maybe software, maybe the client has it. I didn't think this client had WSOP.com had like those custom sizes.
I think it's a Table Tamer or Table Ninja or some program like that can give you the hotkeys for the sizes.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think WSOP does allow that. I reviewed their allowed software and tools before this match, and they're actually pretty lenient overall. I mean, they don't allow trackers and HUDs, which is pretty big, but they do allow like most simple stuff like basic pre-flop charts, things like that. Just can't use real-time assistance or anything super serious. Someone asked, we got a 4-bet actually, and gets through. Apologies. Someone asked who picks the fish shark icons. That was just whoever's running the stream, because you're seeing whoever's running the stream, you're seeing their tables right now, and then Jeff and I are looking at these tables on another screen. And yeah, whoever's running it decides what those icons are going to be. And I think it's a pretty easy choice considering the slant of this particular stream.
Yeah, I'll agree. I see someone in chat saying Table Tamer sucks. I got to agree with that. I've had problems and I don't use them anymore. So no shout out to Table Tamer. Here, slight echo? No, it's gone.
I don't. Cool.
Okay.
Open
3-bet
Doug.
from
You got it.
3-bet from D-Nix. Okay, we'll do the full commentary. Here comes a rare fold to a 4-bet.
3-bet, you mean? But yeah.
Oh yeah, 3-bet. Yeah, I'm the 2-bet, 3-bet thing. Check raise. Brooklyn back raise.
Currently have my foot on my dog to prevent her from barking.
Come on.
Sorry if you guys hear her. She's got a bit of a shrill bark. That's the one brutal thing.
Animal abuse is not hot in 2020, Mike. Come on.
It's a very light foot. It's just
Okay.
so she knows that I'm here and I don't want her to bark.
Fair enough.
Someone saying intuitive tables is much better than Table Tamer. I don't know, but just in case anyone who is Googling Table Tamer, maybe you want to check out that intuitive tables too, compare them.
Okay, there you go. Stack and Tile, I do use that for ACR. I do like Stack and Tile. I hear my echo a little bit. I don't know why. No, not anymore.
Is it? Cool. Is there any way you have you might have volume on the stream or something if you have the stream up. I don't know. That happens to me sometimes.
It's okay. We'll be done in 10 minutes, right?
Possibly.
Unless there's overtime. Special overtime.
This would definitely be the least blood we've had in a session by far if it closes even close to where we're at right now.
Yeah, an exciting break-even session.
Yeah,
a lot of big hands.
In retrospect, that is pretty crazy. Like the closest session other than this one, assuming it does nothing changes, was Daniel winning 87K. So it's still two and a quarter buy-ins about. So this would definitely be the closest to being even yet.
Yeah, I think Doug tweeted out something along the lines of, if Daniel keeps playing this good, we're going to have a hell of a match or something. Like he wasn't making as many mistakes as before. How often do you think Doug's being 100% genuine with that tweet?
I'm so curious about that myself. I haven't asked him, but I'm very curious if he's. I would be surprised if, to some degree, he wasn't gaming that, like thinking like, what if Daniel's going to see this? What will he think? What will his team think? I would imagine that's at least somewhat calculated when he's like deciding to tweet. But I also think it's probably a pretty casual experience, Doug tweeting. I mean, he does seem to kind of go stream of consciousness sometimes on Twitter, so I don't think he necessarily puts so much thought into it. So it's possible it's just totally in earnest and truly believes that Daniel's playing better.
I like Mean Doug when he just started calling everybody out one day on Twitter. What was that? That was hilarious.
That was crazy. He said in a group chat, like, I don't even remember what he said. It was something like, I'm just going off, like something like that. And then he just started tweeting at everyone who was commenting on the match.
Yeah, or just like anybody he had everybody he ever had beef with too. He's like, Fernando, fucking Charlie Carroll, it's on.
Right. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Most of them were pretty damn good natured. I mean, I love the Charlie Carroll one.
Yeah, they're funny. They're not just spiteful. Like, oh, this guy's miserable. It's like it's good humor.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I know some people disagree.
Yeah, if Doug's not your cup of tea, that's your problem.
Yeah, you don't have to listen to him. He makes free content, and it's also free to not watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to have options. I'll choose to watch the content. I enjoy it. Two Small Pots Brewing.
Boski, where's the neck pillow? We have someone asking on YouTube.
I went real professional today, but, we got the pillow. It's right there.
Trip 9's value bet getting through on the left for Doug, winning a nice little 5K pot. Oh, he's gotten it in. There you go. Jeff, are you my dad? Apparently someone's dad uses the neck pillow.
Well, if you want to hate on a neck pillow, you must not like being comfortable. So that's your loss. People hate on me for sitting in a lazy boy chair. It's infinitely more comfortable than your stool or office chair you're sitting in. So step your game up and stop hating.
R Stacks asks, is this chat Doug Polk fanboys and D-Negs haters. What are the vibes here? I would actually say no. I mean, I've noticed. Actually, I'm going to pause because Doug's 4-betting, making it 12.8K on the right table here. That gets through. Yeah, I've been pretty surprised. Like when you would intuitively think, an upswing / Doug Polk stream, you're going to see a lot of Doug fans and Daniel haters. But I think Doug has more like casual poker fans sort of than you'd think. And when Daniel wins some pots, like we're seeing a lot of excitement in chat over Daniel winning. And it's not just like spiteful excitement, like, oh, fuck you, Doug. It's actually like, oh, yay, Daniel, like positive chat. So I do think there's actually a good mix of like, casual poker fans and like serious poker players and, Daniel fans, Doug fans, Daniel haters, Doug haters in this stream. So it's pretty nice to see.
Yeah, it's just fun to pick a side, just like Michigan versus Ohio State or Yankees versus the Red Sox or whatever rivalry there is. You got your team, you want to root for them. It's all in good fun.
I agree. Doug
Queen
winning
5,
a nice little pot.
12K
nice
for Queen 5 again. Wow.
Queen 5's been very hot this challenge, I will say.
It's a big hand. It flops a lot of 2 pairs.
Negreanu really did, from Rancho Joseph 60, Negreanu really did a horrible move when he talked about more rake is better. That is, I agree. That is the thing about Daniel Negreanu that sort of is the stem of this feud, really. I mean, there was a very minor sort of back and forth between Doug and Daniel in 2014 when Daniel said that he thought in 2 weeks he could beat 2550 on PokerStars cash games, which is considered one of the hardest games in the world to just pop in there and win. And Doug kind of, sort of representing the more online players at that time, he got in there and said, I think the exact quote was, "I respect what you've done in your career, but you're, I don't know the exact words. I don't think this was it, but lying to yourself if you think you could just hop into 2550 with 2 weeks of studying and beat it." And Daniel disagreed. There was going to be a challenge, but Daniel never ended up doing anything around that to try to beat 2550 or whatever. Quick bet and a call on the left. Daniel's going to win with a
straight flush.
Straight flush. Wow, straight flush. Good thing Doug didn't have the king of hearts there.
Yeah.
I was just going to say queen of hearts, but yeah, straight flush. Nice little hand there. Yeah, so anyway, but the real stem of this sort of feud between these guys is just Daniel's general position when it comes to PokerStars. He was, as pretty much everyone knows, he was a long time sponsored pro of PokerStars. And, he's done a great job to grow the game. PokerStars has done some great things to grow the game, but they've also done some really shady stuff, like when they basically scammed, in my opinion, scammed Supernova Elites out of the money that they had earned. They allowed these people to play for, I think it was like 9 months of the year, and under the sort of dangling carrot impression that they would get really good rewards the next year as a Supernova Elite. And then Stars just pulled the rug out from them, under them. So that happened. And then they also did some sort of affiliate situation where they just torched a bunch of affiliate contracts, basically saying you're not going to get a piece of the money anymore. And, that's pretty shady as well, in my opinion. You could Google if you want PokerStars affiliate scandal or something like that. 2+2 probably has a thread about it. So it's kind of those things that Daniel stuck by PokerStars through all of it, while other players were, quitting. You saw Alex Canu, Seven Miller, you saw Ike Haxton, those guys left the team basically in protest of those changes that Stars made that were unethical, in their opinion and in my opinion. And Daniel didn't. He stuck by them, continued to get paid a lot of money from them for several years. And that's sort of what this whole thing is about. Doug sort of continuously needling over it, kind of, sometimes good-natured, sometimes maybe not so good-natured. But, that's what it comes down to. A lot of people got scammed for a lot of time and money. And when that's the root of a feud, that's, it's pretty serious business.
I believe Daniel also said, fuck the pros, saying that professionals have no place, basically playing on PokerStars. He wants it to be all recreational players, and professionals are taking all the recreational players' money, so fuck them. That really kills the dream of playing poker for a living.
Yeah, definitely.
If Black Friday wasn't enough, when you got the brand ambassador saying, fuck them, raise the rake. Let's play more spin and goes. Let's play more, comic book.
Super power poker. That was a really good one.
One hand all in. Gamble. Take the skill out. Make it a carnival game. I don't think so, Daniel. Can't kill our dream. Overbet 1.5x. Ace high board takes it down. One of my favorite Doug moments is when he's talking about this situation with Daniel and how he hates on, the grinders playing 20 tables at once, just living off rakeback. And Doug's like, yeah, they're living off rakeback. They're making like 20 grand a year to survive, to put food on the table. These are the enemies. I mean,
yeah, well, I mean, it's one thing. I think it's reasonable to like not want that to exist in poker. Extremely reasonable. But it's more of you still, if you promise them rewards and then they earn the rewards, you have to give them to them, and then you can stop the program. That would be the obvious way to handle it.
Yeah, I think Daniel said they're cheating the system or reaping the awards or something ridiculous. It's like, no, these guys are just grinding out some break-even poker just to feed their families.
Yeah, I mean, they're working within the system. They're not cheating it. They're don't hate the player, hate the game kind of thing.
Yeah. But here we are, 2020, almost 2021. Great year ahead of us. Can't wait. Things are opening back up. Oh, session.
Corey OK 123 asks, is commentary going to be nonstop complaining about Daniel, or we've only done that for the last 5 minutes, so it seems like you just checked in randomly to the stream and then decided that's what we've been talking about the whole time. Pretty cool. Pretty prescient of you. It looks like Daniel is going to sit out, and this is likely going to be the end of the session. Doug's going to book about a 10K win.
Yep, depending on this last pot. Let's see. Yeah, 10, 15K win. Can they chat to each other? Is their chat shown to each other? I saw them chatting before.
No, it's not.
Okay,
I don't know what Daniel's doing when he like actually types something, because it's definitely ... for for Daniel too. Yeah, I mean they could like message each other or whatever.
Yeah. They're keeping track of buttons and everything too. I take it.
Looks like that's going to be it. Give it a second, but I can't imagine Daniel sitting back in. But you never know. Maybe he went on a bathroom break. That would be nice. I would like to see some more hands today, because there was not nearly enough blood. Can we get some ones in the chat if we want some more blood today? Because I definitely would want some more. But I just want to make sure you guys agree. 2, just to be clear, 2 if you don't want more blood.
More blood is better.
Looks like everyone wants more blood. It's hard. Oh, we got a 2 from the guy who's been trolling the whole time with the absolute worst chat I've maybe ever seen. So not surprised that he's he's the one throwing the 2 in there. Oh, we got some other ones. Reasonable. Yeah, so this is probably going to be it. If this is it, I believe the next session will be on Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time, and that would be 10:30. Look at this, boys and girls.
He wants more.
We are not done. We are not done.
All right, who you got as mods on the Twitch chat? You got some mods there?
Yeah, we have some mods.
All right, swing the ban hammer as much as needed. It's for the best. I got a lot of shit for banning people from my chat, but it's a much better environment now. It's a necessary evil that's not got to be done. Some people are just not capable of having a good time in chat. So just get rid of them. Problem solved.
Very reasonable. I don't know if you know Naval Reykjavant or something like that. He was on Joe Rogan podcast, so you probably heard
him. Yeah, yeah.
He he's a pretty good Twitter follow for the most part, and he has a very aggressive blocking strategy. Like he just legit block. Like he's like a billionaire like investor, maybe not billionaire. I'm not sure, but very rich investor, very smart guy, very into like meditation and stuff. Has life advice, and he is extremely aggressive with the blocking with his following. Like he calls it curating a community, which I think is very reasonable.
Well, he has such a big audience. I mean, he can't even mess. I'm surprised he can even read the comments to his stuff. One of the best things I learned from Naval was pay people for your time. So effectively, if you don't like picking up dog poop, and there's a service that does it for $30 a month, it's worth it for you to pay $30 to get it done. Problem solved. That's a net positive for your life.
Definitely.
But yeah, Naval podcast. I think there's like little 1-2 minute clippets, and follow Naval on Twitter. There's like always like a little inspirational quote, but not inspirational, just like a kind of a deep, you know what I'm talking about, a useful quote on how to look at life and investing and, prioritizing your time and stuff like that.
Definitely. He comes at it with sort of like a meditation heavy, like sort of Buddhist like outlook on the world. It's really refreshing. Definitely recommend checking out Naval if you guys don't know him.
Yeah, that podcast with Rogan was good too. It's just so deep. I had to pause it and be like, oh, okay. Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely when you have to like try to absorb it. 14K pot on the left here. Daniel's going to win with an 8.
All right, I'm just going to turn a light on. The sun is setting in Las Vegas.
Someone just asked, what's the name of the podcast? It's the Joe Rogan podcast with Naval Reykjavik, something like that. And then Naval has a podcast too. I've never listened to that though, but Jeff just recommended it.
Yeah, I think they're real short. They're just like a couple minutes each, and you can just go right through them.
Rock Boyardee Poker asks, I like to troll occasionally, but don't like being banned. What should I do? Just make sure the trolls are creative, dude. That's what's important. As long as the trolls are creative, we can't ban you, because that's like just bad practice. That's really bad practice.
Creative, not insightful, or creative, not insightful. Spiteful. That's the word I was looking for.
Right. Hey, it can actually be spiteful if it's like creative as well. As long as creative's in there, just make sure creative, good troll.
Yeah, there's a difference between funny and toxic. But like here, Boski is dumb. Is that good? That's a comment. That's a real comment. Is that the best you got? We're gonna need better than that. Cledius FR with the rate of 73 people. Thank you, Cledius.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Build that upswing channel.
They're going to chop it up with the 10 there, kicker not playing. Welsh Rodders asks, can you give a quick update what's happened over the whole challenge so far, please? I'll give you a quick rundown, and then I'll give you a link that you can check it out. So in the first session, which was played live, I will pause if there's a hand here. In the first session, which they played on November 4th, they played 200 hands live in the Poker Go studio. That match is available on YouTube to watch with whole card showing. Daniel won about 116K, a little under 3 buy-ins. In the first online session on November 6th, they played another 424 hands. Doug picked up a big 218K win there, about 5.5 buy-ins to take a solid lead. Doug extended his lead in the next session, winning 166K over 382 hands. But then in the last 2 sessions, Daniel's performed really well. In session number 4, Daniel won 87K to cut the lead down to 180K. And then in the next session, which happened on Friday, Daniel won 206K to take a small lead overall, less than a buy-in. I was just reading that whole thing off of upswingpoker.com/heads-up-for-grudge, HU for grudge. It's on your screen right now in the middle of the table, or rather in the middle of the screen bottom, like below the results. Go to that link and you can stay updated on what's going on in the challenge. We're updating it after every session.
Upswing Poker, sign up today.
You can also sign up for Upswing. That's true. We have free pre-flop charts, free live poker laws, we called it, 10 laws of live poker, a bunch of free stuff, over 400 free strategy articles. We put out 2 every week. Go check it out. And we also have the lab, 6,000 subscribed members who learn poker from our team of really, really elite pros every week. They add new content. Go check it out.
Yeah, that's what I learned. A lot of people are afraid to get coaching. It's like they're admitting that they're inferior or they already have all the answers. And you got to be humble. You got to be willing to learn from people that are better than you. I mean, you got to swallow that pill. I recently got a bowling coach. I'm a 210 average. People think that's astronomical. And people are like, why do you got a coach? I was hanging out with Brad Owen. I said, I got a bowling coach appointment tomorrow. We're throwing some balls. He's like, you're the best bowler I know. It's like, doesn't matter. You can get better.
Right, for sure. There's no harm in that. Tiger Woods has a golf coach. Well, he's not so good anymore, I guess. But he did have a golf coach in 2010 when he was on top of everything.
Was it Butch Harmon?
For a little while, he was that guy.
Yeah.
iBone I says we need a poker class giveaway. We will be doing some giveaways on this stream at some point. Don't worry. Just haven't planned them out yet. We have a lot of streams to go. We're only about, if they play 12,500 hands, we're about 20% of the way through the challenge. So we have a long way to go still.
It's going to be an epic journey. Who's going to come out on top? Hopefully, Doug.
K. McNash, Mike Brady saying Tiger isn't good at golf anymore is really something. Did I say he wasn't good? If I said that's obviously overstating it by a lot. He's still a professional golfer who just won a tournament last year, the Masters, but he's not the same as he was.
Yeah, that divorce wrecked him. Women, I'll tell you.
Tiger won the Masters year before last? Okay. Sorry, I thought he did the green jacket this year, but maybe I just missaw or something. Jeff, how much does your chair cost?
This is the Lazy Boy Gibson Biffle recliner with swivel. Retail around $1,200. When I got it about 10 years ago, I think it's about $1,500 now. A lot of money for a chair, but when you calculate how many hours you're going to be in your chair, it pays for itself.
No doubt. Chair is a good investment. Chair, bed, shoes, anything that touches the ground, I hear.
Yeah, it just makes sense. No, I don't have a Lazy Boy affiliate link. But you can negotiate with the people at Lazy Boy. So never pay retail. I'll say it again. You can always negotiate. Queen 9 scoops a big one for Kid Poker.
Yeah, nice little pot there. Where are we at now, Daniel? We're about even again? Yeah. Again, Doug is in for approximately 160K. So if he has 160K stacks, then that means if he has 160K in combined stacks, he's about even. Someone asked, by the way, are we looking at Twitch and YouTube? We are looking mainly at Twitch because it's actually a manageable amount of messages, but I'm checking YouTube as well. So I'll try to see your messages on YouTube.
Yeah, I just have Twitch open. I love some good Twitch chat.
Pretty funny. In response to when you said something about Tiger's wife earlier, a couple seconds ago, someone said in the chat, pretty funny typo, women are the rack.
Maybe it's not a typo.
Yeah, maybe not.
No, it's true. I wish there was a historical videography of everyone that asked their wife for a prenup, that awkward moment. See how people react to a prenup.
Or vice versa.
Yeah. True. Prenup goes both ways, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it would actually be interesting to see the difference in responses between a man being told that his wife wants a prenup, or obviously same-sex couples too, all the different breakdowns.
That was a Seinfeld episode.
I don't think we're gonna get that data though. What was the Seinfeld episode?
He wanted to break up with Susan. George wanted to break up with Susan, and Jerry said, "Hey, throw a prenup. That'll offend her. She'll get." And she started laughing at him. I got more money than you. Prenup, sure. I'll sign it.
Yeah, that one backdated. That one backfired.
Classic Seinfeld.
8-9. Nice little pot on the left for Daniel. 5K pot with the turn middle pair.
Do we have inside info from Doug as to what they agreed to, or how's going to go?
I'll shoot him a. I'm gonna flex and say I have Doug's phone number. I'll shoot him a message.
Okay, yeah, don't want to disturb him. I'm down for whatever. Just pretty exciting stuff over here.
Yeah, he might look at his phone on like a break or whatever. So.
Yeah, I think I heard that yesterday. That Jeff Bezos' wife, when he divorced her, she got like $150 billion. No, $40 billion or something. It's like, what?
That's crazy.
You really need $40 billion to maintain your standard of living? Come on, just give her $1 billion. That's all she needs. That's fair. Doesn't have to be half.
Law's the law.
Yeah.
Law of the land.
Maintain standard of living. In case you can't tell, I'm anti-marriage. That's why I'm not going to Ryan DePaulo's wedding. He's mad. It's okay.
Chica Rec asked, does Upswing do both tournament and cash game coaching? Yeah, we have the Upswing Lab is like our most popular product. We have like 6,000 subscribers. It's all things No Limit Hold'em. Covers cash games, tournaments, heads up, a lot of different things. I'm going to pause because Doug's 4-betting on the left here to 11.1K.
I wonder what his 4-bet fold range looks like.
I know he has, I mentioned this earlier, I know he has ace-5 off in his 4-bet range, so obviously that's folding. I know he mixed frequency 3-bets or 4-bets queen-jack, because we did see that once, but he definitely doesn't do it every time. So yeah, probably a bunch of different random hands. It would be an interesting chart to see for sure. Doug going with the small bet on this very dynamic board.
Yeah, it's very wet.
Ooh, we got a small check raise here. Interesting. Daniel definitely has like a bit of an advantage when it comes to like the very, very strong hands on this board. He's going to have pocket 9s, 6s, 7s more than Doug does. 10-8 suited, hands like that. But Doug's going to have the aces, kings, etc. That check raise does get through.
Perfect example of what we were talking about earlier, how those small ass check raises are pretty efficient.
Yeah, very, very, very good price on that check raise. So continuing what I was saying really quick, we also have advanced courses at Upswing for both cash games and tournaments. We have an advanced cash game course by Alex Canu 7 Miller that covers just like 6max cash, but really theoretical focus. He actually has a private solver that like the whole course is based on. It's really interesting. And then we have a couple tournament courses by Nick Petrangelo, absolute beast. We also have another course coming up. We haven't mentioned it, but I will mention it now. We have a little bit of a live course being worked on right now, so keep an eye out for that. But head on over to upswingpoker.com. We have go to the training tab, and you'll see all the options.
Is this an unannounced live pro that's joining the team?
I've already said too much.
Okay.
No more info coming from me.
Coming soon. David Katai joins Upstring Poker.
Upstring Poker.
Upswing Poker. Upstream Poker. You're swimming upstream. Bigger sizing from Doug, slightly. 968. Deeper stack. Wow, he sticks with that shit.
Yeah, he's definitely zoned in.
Nice.
I never expected Doug to really get back into poker deeply again because he was really off of it, really burned out. But he's back and he's feeling really good about his game. It's like Daniel's taking about a 5K lead on the day now.
Amazing turn of events when he's retired and then he talks a little shit, says heads up for rolls, and they actually accept.
Right. He's getting action from other people too.
Are those public?
I'm not sure. I know he played Bill Perkins a little bit at some decent stakes. He played Ali Imsirovic. really good tournament player who was coincidentally the Upswing Lab's second ever member. Really good, really good player.
Yeah.
A few others. I mean, Ali is not someone that you really. That's definitely not a whale match. That was a match to practice more so. I'm assuming because Ali's a good player.
Yeah.
From DNEG's on the left.
Mm-hmm.
Regia team, I actually have seen the In-Betweeners. I don't know. I had to Google that character. But yeah, I do definitely look like him a little bit.
That's what I think you look like?
Yeah, Jay from the In-Betweeners. Something like that.
Never seen that one.
It's a British comedy show. It's pretty funny. I watched like the first season, I think.
Okay. Someone said I look like Jimmy Neutron. That's something.
Yeah, sure. I also got Seth Meyers on this stream from SNL, and then and now he has a show, and Kenneth from 30 Rock. I'll take one of those as a compliment, and one of those is not a compliment at all. But that's fine, as long as I get both.
Yeah, it's weird. The human mind, if you just stare at someone long enough, like if you're streaming or in this capacity, they just visualize people that you might look like. They just try to find something.
Yeah, something's going to cross their mind. Ooh, Doug with a 1.5x pot overbet here on the left.
Ben Affleck's dumb brother. I'll take that as a compliment. Corey Affleck? Casey Affleck? Yeah, that's it.
I believe Doug triple barreled in this hand. I know he bet 6K into was it 6K into 6K on the turn or so? He overbet the turn. I thought it was for 6,000, which would make no, that wouldn't be an overbet though. Maybe I'm not exactly sure what happened. I believe Doug bet flop turn, but it might have been. We'll see.
Wow, gets paid.
That's a nice sized pot for Doug there.
Wow, Daniel with the king, most likely.
Can you hit the replayer on that stream runner, please, and pull that up?
Bazam!
Ah, damn. You only have a second. Did we get it?
Oh no, I didn't get it. Or wait.
For those of you who don't know, you have to hit the replay button as an observer, like right away, or you don't see the hand history. It only shows the most recent one. So you probably missed it.
I'll try to hit that more often. Poker DB. Wait, is that Nat? Nat Aram? Remember Nat? No. Jake Peters, he actually bowls in my Tuesday league. He rips it. He's a very good player.
Is rips it a bowling term?
Official bowling term? you can like judge someone's form and get a good idea of how good they are without even seeing where the ball goes. Just the way they throw it, you're like, oh shit, you know.
Sure.
Respect.
It's like seeing the pop in a bat in like a baseball player or whatever.
Yeah, kind of like that, or like a MMA fighters like roundhouse kick. You're like, oh shit, we're in trouble. But yeah, everybody's form's different in bowling, but some of the best are just silky smooth and it just 20 miles an hour max rotation. These are all bowling terms, but
Theme Texas recap the action. I really appreciate you. If you Theme Texas just for this, if you can shoot a DM to Upswing on Twitter or tweet at us, we'll give you a free shirt or something. So in that hand, Doug opened the button with Queen 6 suited, got 3-bet, then he 4-bet. Daniel called, then the flop came King Queen 4 or whatever it was. Check on the flop. Turn was the Queen giving Doug trips, and then he bet twice from there. So that was the action for that big one. And now on this left table, we have Daniel going for the river raise.
4x check raise. What's he repping? Flush?
Yeah, certainly. Flush. In a pot of this size, you could see him maybe raising a straight for value if he played it this way.
Yeah.
Someone asking, just random letters asks, is there rake from the website? They are taking rake, but then they're sending it back to the players after the sessions. So there, while you do see rake on the tables, like you'll see every pot ends in like 750 because they took like 250 from the pot for rake. They will be sending it back. So when it comes to the actual results that like Doug tweets out and that we have on the results page, they're all with the rake balanced out or whatever.
At the end, they'll be made whole equally, 50-50.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure what that structure or like a rather schedule is for getting that sent back to them, but they are getting it sent back.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, we were ripping on WSOP a little bit earlier, but you do have to give them some, as Doug drags a nice little pot with a pair of sixes. You do have to give them some credit, and we're appreciative of them because they didn't even have heads up tables before this match started, and then they, at Doug and Daniel's request, they added heads up tables. So yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, it's good publicity for them too. Get more people on the site.
Yeah, no doubt. It would be a dumb decision for them not to do it, but I'm still appreciative that they did.
I agree.
Francis says, are they playing 100% on themselves? I assume you mean, did they like sell any action? I'm sure both players sold at least some action, but I'm also quite sure that both players have the lion's share of themselves. I would be surprised if either player had less than like 70% of themselves, and then maybe even more.
Yeah, selling action's a tricky thing. Some people play better when they sell action. Some people play worse because they feel guilty about losing other people's money, or they won't pull the trigger. It's important that whoever you're selling action to never questions your play in a way that will make you doubt your plays. So you 4-bet shove ace queen, you run into ace king, and they're like, ace queen, come on, bro. It's like, no, it's a tournament. I got to get it in. So remember that if you ever sell action to like a World Series event or even for a cash game with a buddy, make sure the other party knows that they trust you and they're going to trust your decisions.
Definitely. Think it through before selling action or getting staked. That's very, very key advice in poker. Don't just get staked. Don't like just get staked because you want to play higher stakes and it's sort of like something you're chasing. It could go bad.
Also, as a general rule, if one of your favorite poker players is selling action on Twitter, that most likely means that they've exhausted all other resources to sell action to this event, and this is their last hope. So you're probably not going to get a profitable deal from someone selling action on Twitter. But if you want to do it for entertainment, you like the person, by all means. Profitability, not a good investment. If they're reaching out to the masses, because they already went to their friends, they all said no. They either said, no, I don't, you're on a downswing, I don't want a piece of you, or markup's too high. It's better to just, probably not do that. $14K in the middle on the right, ace 9 6 6 board. Actions to Doug on the button. He checks it back. Expect DNAX to go for a small sizing here, maybe 4,500. Nope, I was wrong.
Yeah, he breaks out the big bet. Daniel's going to win the pot on the left with a pair of aces on the 4 flush board. I'm sure he's happy to win that one. Let's see what Doug decides to do on this ace 9 6 6 jack.
Yeah, I don't expect much raising after checking the turn, so it's a call or fold situation.
Yeah, more than likely, unless he has some super strong traps in the check back range, which is possible, especially because Doug likes to break out those like 4x pot river bets. So, you don't even actually have to build the pot on the turn if you're just going to jam it in anyway on the river. So who knows?
Yeah.
But I do agree with you. I think raising is going to be a very rare line from him here.
Just counting bluff combos and doing some calculus and shit.
Gets the fold. Jeff Sudbeck asked, "Is this still live? I left for about 2 hours and came back." Yes, this is the first session that they're going back past the 2 hour mark. Pretty exciting stuff. They were about Doug gonna win with a 5 on the left. They were about even at that 2 hour mark, so perhaps that sort of affected their decision to keep going. I think it's probably likely a Daniel's generally going to be the bottleneck in continuing to go. I think most of the time Doug is going to be down to keep playing, but that's most of the time Daniel's going to be the one who decides, like, are we going to keep going?
Yeah, and it's probably going to be advantage Doug. He's got more long sessions of heads up battles in his past, so he knows what to expect.
Yeah, I think he'll be a little more suited towards the long sessions. But the other thing is, I don't think they're going to play like an 8-hour session. I don't think that's in the cards at all. So that, I think that's where Doug would really have an edge, is like playing a really, really long session. But I don't think that's happening. I think they'll maybe go 3-4 hours at the most.
Makes sense. 12.5K in the middle on the left. Actions on Negreanu. 75% bet. And takes it down. Still pretty close to even overall totals. Doug might be up a little bit.
Yeah, I think Doug's up about 10K now. Maybe even less.
Hell of a battle.
Polker 103 asks, is there an agreed upon max loss for this challenge? No. They just hands, the amount of hands they're going to play.
Either 12.5 or 25?
Yep, exactly.
And whoever's down gets to choose at that point?
Yes, at the 12.5K hand mark, whoever's down money at that point is the one who decides, do we keep going? The winner has no option to quit.
Really? Wow. What if Doug like sandbags just to be down like $10? Says, another 12.5. Sorry, Daniel.
I mean, that is probably a thing, I would imagine.
Oh,
like if it's close, at 12,500, like extreme example, say Daniel's up by like half a blind at the 12,499th hand or whatever. Doug getting a value bet with the straight, with like one hand to go with 12 to the 12,500 mark. If Daniel's up like half a blind, maybe Doug folds more often, so he gets to guarantee the next 12,500 hands.
Yeah, that's some more strategy. That'd be interesting. He just punts off a buy-in just to be down. Says, we're not done yet. And Daniel's sitting out. Do we see the ... Oh, there's a ... Holy shit, on the left table. I called it.
Good. That was a great read.
He still can't chat. Come on. Maybe that means he's done if he just gives him the ... That's their code. Bathroom? It's been 30 minutes since the assumed quitting time.
Looks like Doug is up about, assuming our count of him being in for 160 grand is correct, he's up about 15K right now.
Okay.
So that is just an estimate. It could be a little bit different. How's there no chat? Someone asks. Yeah, for some reason I'm not familiar with their reasoning. I haven't seen it. WSOP does not allow chat of any kind. Like if you type something, it's just a ... no matter what you type. You can put emojis, I think, but there's no actual chat.
They used to, and from what I heard, I think they just tried to get rid of it all, but they couldn't just completely get rid of the chat box, so they just made it so everybody just goes ...
So it was like a development thing.
Yeah, something in the programming. I think they assumed it's just a net negative on the experience. Too many people are saying bad things in the chat compared to it being a good experience, saying, oh, nice hand, Timmy, you got me good, compared to, I hope nothing but bad things for you.
Indeed. Yeah, they're trying to keep it. Their reasoning is likely because they want to keep it like more like casual player friendly. No casual player wants to get berated.
And we're back. D-Negs just had to go to the bathroom, apparently. Too many coffees.
And the session is going for so long, I have to switch to the sitting version of my desk, unfortunately.
Oh, he's flexing. He was standing. Now we're moving down.
That's right. Look at this smooth movement down.
Damn.
Giving my legs a little rest. Oh, this is much better. Why didn't I do this right away?
Okay. Whoever's mod in the Twitch channel, please give me the mod privileges, and I'll start dropping some ban hammers.
Yeah, I can get you. What's your Twitch?
Jeff Boski.
All right, done.
Thank you. Just gonna take out some of the trash. Don't have to name any names. That's what they want.
Ooh, Primordial AA. You interested in doing a little bit of commentary? Yeah, I'd love to have a fellow heads up sit and goer, former heads up sit and goer. It's probably more accurate now for both of us. I'd love to have you in the booth as well. So shoot me a tweet. MBradyCF is my Twitter. Let the purge begin, someone says, as soon as you get the mod powers. Good stuff.
Very nice, thank you. Yeah, I don't want to overdo it. It's just the clear cases where they're just nothing but bad. Just makes for a better experience altogether. Imagine being at a house party and some guy's just there, spilling drinks, making fun of chicks, making it a bad experience. We don't want that. A net negative on the whole community.
Chop pot there with the 6. Hallrich asks, how much did each player start the day with? They both bought in for 40K on both tables at the beginning. And then they have one of the rules of the challenge, which you can review the rules if you want at upswingpoker.com/HU for grudge. It's the link just below the results, so you can see it. The rule is they have to auto top up to 40,000. So if you add 40,000, you lose like one hand, go down to 35. You have to top up back to 40. So it's kind of hard to say exactly what they're in for because that happens so frequently. But it's Doug's in for about 160K right now.
That is a nice feature, auto top up.
Indeed, very. I'm probably preaching to the choir here. People already know this, but good sign that you're playing a reg or that the person is a reg when they have the auto top up, or at least they want to be a reg.
Yeah. Or someone open sits with 62.3 blinds. You're like, okay, this is the last of the roll. Let's get it.
Yeah, that was always. I used to play heads up cash, and that was a good feeling when you'd be playing someone for a little while, get them down a couple buy-ins, and then all of a sudden they rebuy for like, $128 at a 1-2 table. It's a good sign.
I know some regs intentionally started buying in for 82.3 blinds just so you think they're a fish. That's the next level.
I did that myself as well. I also had a strategy of it would be on like sites like iPoker or something where like you don't really know the player pool too well because there's so many different skins, so you don't know who anyone is. Doug with the bet on the left, 2,200 with a bluff with 9 high. Daniel looks him up with 2 pair. That's gonna be a call. I would sit for someone heads up with like 80 or 90 blinds or something like that, and then if my left card was a heart, I would 3x my preflop open, and if it was not a heart, I would min raise. So that way they think I'm varying my open size, likely something like because I have a better hand or something, but in reality, it's just like a randomization method.
Wow, that they'll never figure out.
Yeah, definitely not. Unless they reviewed all my hands and figured out my left card's always a heart when I 3x.
Showdown, 8 of hearts. Knew it. 7K pot on the left, 10-6 deuce. It's like Polk was the 3-better. C-bets large, gets a call. Steaming brick on the turn. I could use some geometric sizing here to the tune of, 15,000? Maybe a little smaller to set up a river jam. Chooses not to.
Goes for the check.
Check behind. Not too many threes in their range.
Yeah, would not expect either player to have a 3 here very often. Doug could have a hand like, 6-3 suited, something like that, potentially. 5-4 suited. Or 5-3 suited, rather. 4-3 suited. The turn pair. Ooh, D-Negs goes for the large bet here on the river. D-Negs could have a hand like 7-8 here, checking back the turn with his double gutter.
Yeah.
Could also have some threes, maybe a hand like pocket threes. Or maybe something like missed clubs. Doug does fold. That's going to get Daniel pretty close to even on the session. I think Doug's up about 3K.
Yep, no bluff catch there. I am of Polish descent. That's why I have a fair skin tone, since the chat is so interested in such things. I am Caucasian. Nothing I can do about that. I only banned one person. That's it. I just wanted the ban hammer. Oh, shout out to Australia Poker Mate. Hopefully I'll meet Belmo very soon. I'd bet on it.
Jack Knox over on YouTube asks, what's your guys' overall impression of play so far? Are you surprised? Were you expecting it to be so close? I know it's early, but so far. I'm going to answer that question in a second because we have a 15K pot on the right. Doug's going to bet 10K now.
Repping that ace.
Pretty deep here. Started the hand over 175 blinds. Oh, that's going to get through for Doug. Extend his lead on the day slightly.
What do you think about momentum in poker, whether it's a tournament or cash game? Do you think it exists? I believe Doug says it's not a thing.
Yeah, Doug's never really been a big fan of that kind of thing, particularly momentum. I mean, that one in particular sounds like some nonsense. I mean, that's only going to be like a, sort of a mental thing. Like someone if they're on the opposite side of momentum, they might be a little bit more tilty or whatever. But I don't think it's something that's worth considering or spending mental energy on when there's a pretty complex game. Better to focus on other things.
I think it just has to do with confidence. You lose 5 pots in a row, you probably don't have momentum. But if you win 5 pots in a row, you're feeling good, a little more confident. But it shouldn't affect your game that much.
One of my favorite things about doing this commentary is when I say something and then someone in chat says, it's so absurd to say thing I did not say. Like they slightly rephrase what I said to make it so it's wrong. Like it's pretty funny. I like it.
Oh yeah, they'll twist and turn anything.
How can you say thing that you didn't say? I don't know, man. I don't know.
How dare you? See, they say momentum's very real in sports, like a hot hand in basketball, but I think that's been scientifically proven mathematically that it's just randomness.
C-bet, large C-bet in a 3-bet pot gets called on the right from Doug. We got a very dynamic board here. Jack 10, 7, 3, 2 diamonds, 2 spades. He checks the turn. That is not good for Doug. He's not going to check a lot of strong hands here.
He can bluff catch, though.
Check, check. 2 spades on the river. Flush gets there. Both players can definitely have a little bit of that. Doug's going to check some flush draws on the turn because he doesn't really want to get jammed on, though Daniel's not going to be doing so much jamming versus a turn bet. And Daniel's going to check some flushes for kind of the same reason. Doesn't want to get check jammed, though, again, Doug's not really going to check jam on this board too often. Daniel goes for the big bet. On the left table. Left table, we have a pot brewing as well. Doug check raising the flop.
I always think it's interesting in those spots where having a bluff catcher, sometimes it's better to call with a hand that has worse value. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it's better to call with Jack 9 there than Ace Jack, which blew my mind when I first heard it. But it's like blockers, bro, blockers.
Yeah, it's pretty damn unintuitive. But
like, wait a minute.
Once you hear it, it definitely makes sense.
Yeah, it's like I'd rather have pocket eights than Ace Jack on a Jack high board. It's like, huh?
Another 4-bet here from Doug. And that's going to get through.
Speaking of momentum, Mike, have you ever been in the zone? Do you know what the zone? Poker, sports?
Sure. I mean, if that's under the umbrella of momentum, like that getting you in the zone, sure. I would say that's maybe I would think of that as two different things, having momentum and being like dialed in. But yeah, being dialed in is certainly important.
Yeah, fully focused, got the tunnel vision, just it's like a drug almost.
Being in flow, the state of flow.
Flow state, yep.
Doug wins a couple nice pots. He's up about 10K on the session now, approximately. Again, for the exact total after the session, go to that link on the bottom middle of your screen, upswingpoker.com/HU for grudge. That'll have the numbers updated.
And make sure you guys hit that follow button if you are watching on Twitch. It's free, and you'll hit the alerts so you're alerted when we go live.
Yeah, hit that subscribe on Doug's YouTube if you're not one of his 300,000 or so subscribers.
Great channel. Great channel. People always message me, say, hey, how can I get better at poker? Where's some good free content? I say, it's pretty easy. Doug Polk on YouTube, or watch Twitch streams like BBZ, Raise Your Edge. All these top tier pros are playing. You can watch them play for free.
A lot of good ways to get better at poker these days for free.
Yeah.
Pair of sevens gets bet on the left for Doug for value. That's going to get called.
Yeah, or people, they always say, what's the best book to read? And I'm like, well, I think we're kind of past books. It's like, what's the best CD to listen to? It's all digital, baby. Everything's digital now. Watch videos, tap into the neural link, step your game up.
Anyone have any questions about the challenge, by the way? In a bit of a lull in the action. Oh, as I say that, I should say that more often. Doug check raises on the right versus Daniel's min bet. But if you do have a question about the challenge, if you're not sure what's going on, something like that, drop it in the chat.
He loves that min bet.
Yeah, he does do the high frequency min bet. We do see him use the $1,500 size into 2000 sometimes, but he uses the 400 much more often, which you'd expect.
Yeah, not too bad range min bet. Oh, but Harrington on Hold'em is what I recommend. Read it probably 10, 15 years ago for tournaments. There's a good book if you guys like reading books. If not, Insight, Upswing, BBZ, Raise Your Edge. Yeah. It's just a matter of if you want to put in the time, possibly money and effort to get better. Or you can just play and think you're going to get better.
A lot of people opt for that.
It's a lot more fun to just play and try to figure it out. But some things, like you say, are just not intuitive. So you'll never be like, okay, this is a good spot to 3-bet, or, oh, this is a good spot to reverse float. You're like, huh?
Those are words. Those are words in a certain order. Doug's overbet on the left gets through after check raising the flop, I believe.
Yeah.
PokerMate says, I'd be very surprised if this goes the full 25,000 hands. What do you think? I would have agreed with you for sure a couple thousand hands ago. I didn't think it was super likely that I kind of thought what I thought is the most likely thing to happen would happen, which is Doug would win by a decent amount, not necessarily a crushing win, but he'd be up. It would be 12,500 hand mark, and then Daniel would decide to cut it just because, maybe he was done with this. I mean, this is pretty intensive. I mean, we're only 7% of the way through the challenge or so right now, if they do play 25,000 hands. So I would understand if he didn't want to play the full thing. But he's been pretty competitive throughout this match. I think he's feeling pretty good about his game. I'm kind of not basing that on anything super logical, but it just seems like he's playing fast. He hasn't really backed down in any way. Maybe he's playing a little tight and passive in certain spots, but yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty likely, even if he's down a little bit or a lot going into the 12,500th hand, I think he will likely want to keep playing. I don't think he's done. I don't think he's going to want to be the guy who quit. And also, he does have a lot of side bets. I believe he might even have one with Bill Perkins where he's getting 10-1, but he has to complete the full 25,000 hands for that bet. So he's actually incentivized to complete the hands because of all those side bets. So yeah, could definitely see it going all 25,000. Someone asked about rakeback. Jeff, you know the answer to that.
Rakeback?
Yeah, for these guys.
They get it all back, evenly split at the end of the competition. So 0 rake on WSOP heads-up tables for this specific challenge.
Indeed. Broodweiser asks, are there any more live events scheduled between these guys? No, none on the books, but you never know. Maybe they'll decide to do the last 200 in the studio. Who knows? We'll see. I know a lot of people want to see that, so it's possible. Just Got Pond asks, what is the amount of the side bet? No side bet in this challenge. Daniel wins a nice little pot there with a rivered top pair on the left. Loco Brassy asks, how will they decide about the duration of the challenge? We're starting to repeat ourselves now, but at the 12,500th hand, the person who's down money gets to decide if they keep going. If they want to quit, it's over. Just missed one. I Shine ZZ just asked, what was the biggest pot of all of the sessions? We actually just put out an article on Upswing Poker, the top 10 biggest pots from this challenge. So if you want to check that out, it actually doesn't include the Friday session is the one thing. I'll go ahead and link that though in the chat if you want to check it out. I don't think they played any bigger ones, but they might have. But yeah, those are the top 10 at least for now, and we are going to keep a running total of the biggest pots updated once in a while.
Yep, click that link. Everybody loves big pots.
Yep, videos and everything. Videos and text recaps. Nice. Broodweiser, I feel like this challenge needs an FAQ. It is on my to-do list to write an FAQ for this bad boy. Don't worry. Just haven't had a chance yet, but I 100% agree. Stevie the Homie asks, why is Friday not included? The article came out Friday morning, so the session hadn't happened yet.
Best pizza in Vegas, clearly Pizza Rock or Grimaldi's. Debate me on that one.
You're not a fan of Secret Pizza?
It's not a secret anymore.
Well, that doesn't mean it's not the best.
It's all right. It's all right. I like the Detroit deep dish or the pepperoni thin crust at Grimaldi's. Deep dish at Pizza Rock, thin crust Grimaldi's. It is very expensive, but you can just taste the quality. It's worth it.
Yeah, fair enough. Grimaldi's is very good.
Yeah.
3-bet on the left gets called from Doug. We get the ace, queen, 3, 2 clubs.
2 big pots of brewing. Oh, I expect an all-in.
Yeah, that's going to be... It's good. I do not expect an all-in, actually.
They're going to check it back in bet.
I like it.
Oh, man.
Oh.
50 clicks. They're going to click it back 100. Oh, yeah. I saw it coming. What? Oh, baby.
Yeah, this is...
Ah.
That's high-level stuff right there, boys and girls.
Wow. Just called.
4-bet on the river. You don't see that too often.
Got him.
Renju Master asks, who would you say has been luckier? I would say in card distribution. I've seen all the hands so far. I would say in card distribution, like in terms of coolers, who's had more aces, things like that, would be Daniel. He's definitely seems to have had a fair bit more of those strong hands, and he's cooler Doug in a few 6 spots. Though Doug's cooler Daniel back for sure. And then when it comes to all in EV, Doug is definitely running better. Doug is probably running about 180K above EV, right at this point, if I had to guess. Someone totaled it up on Twitter before the session, so I'm going off of what's happened since.
Yeah. No, same rake for that split pot. It's going to be 0.
Indeed, they could have whatever it would have been, like 90-bet all in there. That would have been pretty good. I guess Daniel didn't want to waste any more time.
Yeah, that was cute though.
Sparrow Clothing asks, you say they don't have a stop loss, but what happens if one player wants to back out at like 10K hands if they're down X million? I don't think that's like a pot. I mean, I suppose it's a possible scenario that like one of them gets so wrecked they like can't justify continuing to play. But like, I think it's like under, a millionth of a percent or whatever, basically. Like both players very properly rolled for this game. Like both can afford to be down 1 million and keep playing for sure. So there's just no way either player would even want to quit outside of what they agreed on. That's why they agreed on it.
Yeah, there's no penalty for quitting though. It's just like a gentleman's agreement. Mike, do you know what? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to do a chat question that is not that good of a question. Go on.
It's been fiending for a Seriously Serious music video. Do you know when the next one's dropping?
I don't. He did just put out like a video on his Twitter, Seriously Serious, in the run-up to this challenge that was pretty good. I would recommend checking that out. Or no, it wasn't the run-up. It was after the first session. Daniel gave an interview where he like raged at his computer. As Thomas made a pretty good video. Check that out for sure.
Classic. If you guys like Joe Rogan Experience podcast, check out Polytune on YouTube. He does little 2-minute animated clips of moments on the Joe Rogan Experience. Polytune on YouTube. I think you guys will enjoy them. $11K in the middle on the right-hand table. D-Negs with position, but it's not on him yet. Oh, Ace-10 versus King-Queen checks it back.
It's definitely a nitty check back. A titty check back from Daniel there.
We got some new terms on the stream.
Hashtag titty check back. Get that at me.
Yeah, that's what happens when you go into overtime. We're unprepared for hour number 3 and above, but we're here for you guys.
I just got a DM on Telegram from someone saying the best pizza in Vegas is Pizzeria Manzu. I don't know if you've tried that, but
I haven't heard
maybe
of that.
you should. Yeah, maybe you should.
Pizzeria Monster, yeah. Just been getting on these two Grimaldi's and Pizza Rock lately, but I like to mix it up. Steak, chicken, seafood. Titty check back. You been playing any live in San Diego there, Mike?
I played a little bit before everything shut down at a few places. There's a place out here called Lucky Lady that's seriously like they took a rundown 7-Eleven and then put carpet and like 6 tables in it. And that place is pretty poppin'. The games are really good.
Sounds good. Pizza Manzu. All right, I'm taking a note. We got more people saying it.
Nice. Yeah, maybe it's good.
So many dining options in Vegas. It would take me years to go to all of them, but I like the variety. Doug with the check raise, facing the 20% pot bet, takes it down. JJ Lieberman, I know that name. BBZ stream. How's the live scene? Have not participated. I pretty much only leave my house to go bowling. A few cash games, no tournaments. It's not the same. Not the same feel. Not the same gambling atmosphere pre-COVID, but poker rooms are doing pretty good.
All right, guys. So it's been a long stream over here. We didn't know we were gonna have to go this long, and we're gonna do something a little bit different. Maybe something you don't expect. We're actually gonna pass it off to another stream. I don't know if anyone knows, Joe Ingram is streaming the same thing right now, commentating with Landon Tice. They've been streaming the whole time. We're about to turn the stream off. Go ahead and pop over there. I'm throwing the link in the stream right now. I gotta switch to Doug's account so I can pin it. Please go over there to sweat the match. I'm also going to put it in the Twitch chat. There it is. Yeah, go check out Joey's stream of this bad boy. Should be good. He's Landon Tice is supposed to be a really good player. But check out his commentary, see what's going on. We unfortunately got to shut this one down right now. So head on over there. Yeah, I really did not expect them to go this long, and and let's see.
Shout out to Chicago Joey, always entertaining.
And let me see if anyone on Twitch is streaming it, so I can raid them. Looks like we have a French stream. That one will. That's a good backup. Hope you guys are ready to learn some French. Yeah, I recommend going over. Right, I'm gonna drop it a few more times. I recommend going over to Joey's stream. Unfortunately, he's not on Twitch, but yeah, there's also going to be. I'm going to host this stream right now to a French stream of the same match. You could still keep up on the action. Unless you speak French, you're probably not going to know. But yeah, we want to pass this over to Joey, give him and Landon some time to analyze. Yeah, if you guys have any feedback about this stream, please hit me up at mbradycf on Twitter. If you have any questions about the challenge, you can hit me up there too. Check out Boski. He's got a great vlog on YouTube, tournament vlog. I think he plays some cash games too, right?
Occasionally, yeah. Mainly tournaments.
Cool. Yeah, and he's also an ACR streamer. Streams all the time. Definitely check out his stuff. I loved having you on, man. Thanks for hanging out with me. I assume you're down to come back?
Yeah, anytime. Let me know. I appreciate being on, Mike. Always a pleasure. Big shout out to Upswing Poker. Great site.
Yeah, head on over to Upswing, guys. We make a lot of stuff. Over 400 strategy articles. Go check those out. So yeah, I'm gonna go host the stream now over to our French friends and go check out Joey's. If you want to check out